Mike Missanelli Show is on the air as we inch closer to the NFC title game at Lincoln Financial Field. I don't know what the weather will be on Sunday, but this kind of weather wrinkles me. I got to be honest with you. Single digits this morning, I don't do single digits, Bill. I got news for you. Bill Colarola here. Ray is not here today. We got Sean Rodman in the booth today. All right, so we'll try to ignore the cold. We'll try to warm up with a little Eagles talk. We've been talking about this all week. It's really fascinating to me how people have different takes on the Eagles. And I just think at this point, people just want to write something or say something different. It's just the era that we live in because it makes no logical sense yesterday what we heard from the likes of Phil Simms and Alex Smith. And I'm looking at power rankings here. The NFL.com, this guy named Eric Edholm, who actually has the Eagles ranked as the fourth team in this party of four. He's got the Washington Commanders in the power rankings ranked ahead of the Eagles in the face of a 6.5-point line that's been established in Vegas. Now, these are people that just want to hear themselves talk. I'm pretty convinced because there's no way. Listen, you can make a case that the AFC teams are ranked ahead of the Eagles at this point. In fact, I was reading a story where either of those teams, the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills, would be favored in a Super Bowl against the Eagles. And that's fair. I don't know what the line would be, but if you can make the case that the Chiefs and Bills are better, I've got no problem with that. You cannot possibly make the case that the Washington Commanders are better than the Philadelphia Eagles when in Vegas they instill the Eagles as a 6.5-point favorite on their home field in the cold. Where on earth could you rank the Commanders ahead of the Eagles? What are they doing, Bill? They got me fired up already in the first 5 minutes of this show?
We talked a little bit about it yesterday, that it's starting to get very weird on a national level, the disrespect that the Eagles are getting. And sometimes Eagles fans, we do overblow that. Hey, national media doesn't like us, but it's getting weird now. For you to rank the Washington Commanders above the Eagles in a power rankings, when you compare the rosters, when you look at both rosters on paper, now granted the game has to be played, I understand that, but power rankings are on paper. When you look at it on paper, the Eagles are by far the better team on both sides of the football, by far. They have a better defense by far. The Commanders' defense is not very good. We've seen that before. They're not a very good defense. They can't stop the run. The main issue comes down to which quarterback would you choose? I think that is the main issue when you're comparing the rosters. Would you go Hertz? Would you go Jayden Daniels? Daniels is a rookie. He's going up against a 70-year-old Vic Fangio who's been in this game a long time. He has seen everything there is to offer. I'm putting my money on Vic Fangio. I'm putting my money on the experience. And we know rookie quarterbacks 0 for 5 in conference championships, Mike, and I don't think that changes on Sunday.
I don't either. In fact, I don't even have any qualms about this game whatsoever. I know there are a lot of people that are afraid because Jayden Daniels can make some plays. I get it. He can't. He's poised, but he's still a rookie, and this is a really big spot. I would have less faith in him to make big plays, and I would fear Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes a lot more than I would fear Jayden Daniels, with all due respect to the kid who's had a great year. But let's look at the other quarterback, because this is the talking point when people really get into where the Eagles could possibly be their weakest. It's always, it's the quarterback because their passing game is not that good. Now, we've tried to refute that 100 different ways, that it really doesn't matter that he doesn't throw the ball like Mahomes or Allen at this point, because the Eagles have established a certain blueprint on how they win, and it doesn't include necessarily 250 yards of passing. But there is a weird, I don't know, what do you call it, a doubting of Jaylen Herz. It's like people like to go after him in a very negative way for some reason, including their own fan base. I mean, you see what happens when he doesn't get off to a good start. Here comes social media. Hertz sucks. Our quarterback is not good enough to win a Super Bowl. And then by the end of the day, they've won the game, and they forget all about that. They've said that. It's weird because he's the hometown quarterback. Now, I can see like the national pundits try to outsmart themselves by criticizing him. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's not this. He's not that. I get it. But even in the hometown, you get that kind of reaction for Jaylen Herz. So we're trying to figure out why that would be. And I think maybe we touched on it, Bill, for the show. What did you say?
I think it's the contract.
It's the money.
Yeah, I think people look at the fact that he has a $255 million contract, and they want more from their quarterback. But the one thing that keeps bothering me when we talk about Jaylen Herz, every single time you put up, I've tweeted this out, or you see a statistic that says total yards, the Jaylen Herz haters come out. Well, remove the rushing yards. Remove the rushing touchdowns. The last time I checked, passing yards and rushing yards count the same. Passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns count the same. Moving the ball down the field, whether he's doing it with his arm or his legs, is still moving the ball down the field. So why do people look at Jaylen Herz and say, remove the rushing yards? Would we say about Christian McCaffrey, because he's a running back, remove his receiving yards from the equation? No, you wouldn't, because it's a part of his skill set, just like running the ball is a part of Jaylen's skill set. I don't understand that argument of people who want to remove the rushing yards from the equation when they count the same as passing yards.
No, you're right about that. And like you can go to a couple parallels. And the most interesting parallel is the one you always make with the Seattle Seahawks. What was Russell Wilson that year?
He was a second-year quarterback. He was on his rookie deal. I actually went and looked at their contracts. So in 2013, Russell Wilson was on a rookie contract that paid him a total of $3 million, and he only had a $681,000 cap hit that season. Now, when you compare that to Jaylen Herz this year, he's on a $255 million contract with a $13.6 million cap hit. Nobody was complaining about Russell Wilson in 2013. He was certainly good enough to win a Super Bowl because they did it, and you didn't hear all this talk about, well, can Russell Wilson win the big game? But I do think that's the difference with Hertz. It's the money. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
All right, we're going to talk about it. It's a very interesting phenomenon and why Jaylen Herz is looked down upon when all the Eagles have had with him as the quarterback is success. And to me, that counts more than any splashy statistic. It is General Knowledge Wednesday. We'll give you the topics after this. We are giving away Sixers tickets today. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but at least you can get down there and have fun.
Yeah, free is free.
Right. If it's free, it's for you. 610-632-0975. Ray is not in for General Knowledge today, so this is straight up against you. The question versus you, the audience, and we're back after this.
Join 97.5 The Fanatic and Philly Sports Trips on Thursday.
How's everybody doing out there? Stay warm? It's miserable, man. I hate it. I really do. What would you rather? A lot of people have this discussion. Would you rather be in bitter cold or oppressive heat? And most people say bitter cold because they go, well, you can put a coat on. But when I walk outside in this kind of thing, it's miserable to me. And when I walk outside in heat, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm looking at it.
Like, I can play golf in 95-degree weather with no problem.
Same. I've played in extreme humidity. Doesn't bother me.
I can't stay outside when it's single digits.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Now, no single digits for the weather, no single digits on the golf course for you either.
No, true. True. But people say, how can you play in that heat? I love the heat. The heat keeps you loose. You don't tighten up.
Yeah, like
I like a nice sweat if I'm walking a golf course.
I'm looking at it, too. When you get in your car to start your day, when it's really, really hot and you have that humidity, would you rather have that or would you rather have when you get in and the car's still cold and the heat doesn't work? I think I'd rather just take the humidity, put the windows down and drive. I think I'm with you.
I don't put the windows down.
You keep them up? What do you just savor the humidity?
Air conditioning, man.
Yeah, but when you first start the car, the AC's not on yet.
Yeah, I get it. But, I've fortunately had cars where the AC kicks in real quick, and I'm not hot for long.
So I used to say this all the time, though, playing football. The crazy thing is you start football in 100-degree August weather, and you finish it in single-digit winter weather, and you're wearing the same uniform. You think about that.
Yeah.
You wear the same thing in 100-degree weather on the field that you do in single-digit weather on the field. That's why football is the toughest sport, man.
Yeah, I got it. After a 95-degree golf day, too, I like to languish in my sweaty
Your
golf.
sweat. You don't change. You just go get something.
Yeah, I go home and I just like languish.
A little swamp ass.
No, I'm not a smelly guy. Like when I sweat, I'm not a smelly guy. Like I never smell.
No?
No, I don't have that BO thing.
Good to know. Good to know being in here. Thankfully, it's not hot in here.
All right, so it's general knowledge today. Pair of tickets to see, what is it? A pair? Or is it, what is it?
There's a pair of tickets.
A pair of tickets to see the Kings come to town. That's January 29th. So that's next week. And the Kings are a good team to see. Have fun down there. You root them on. You never know who's going to play for the Sixers. Maybe MB does play that game. So that's the prize today, and all you got to do is answer a question correctly, and you qualify it for at the end. Now, here are I made it really easy for people today. Since Ray's not here, I figured I'm going to make it easy for people to get the question correctly. It's easy general knowledge. Like, I'll give you an example.
All right, give me an easy one.
What's the capital of Italy?
Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Easy general knowledge, right? Stuff that you should be able to get with no problem. Here's the other one. Guess these badly described films.
All right.
You ready for this?
You give me one?
Half fish, half woman, sells vocal cords to kiss random bloke.
Little Mermaid.
There you go.
Little area.
Yeah.
Go on and kiss the girl.
Yes. And finally, easy. All NFL starting quarterbacks of the 2020s. In other words, all these teams have had multiple starting quarterbacks. I'm going to ask you, all right, give me 3 for the Giants. You see what I'm saying?
I just got to name 3?
Yeah, that's an
Daniel
example
Jones,
of the question.
Eli Manning, Tommy DeVito.
Right. There you go.
There we go.
Easy. These are questions you should not even get wrong today.
Wait, did you say 2020s or
2020s.
just Eli Manning?
The 2020s.
Oh, 2020. I thought you said 2000s.
No, the 2020s.
All right, so Eli didn't play in
Eli's
the
out.
2020s.
Yeah.
So that would be
2020,
Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor, Daniel Jones.
There you go. Simple. Now,
Don't be correcting me back there, Sean.
Second question. You already got it wrong.
There's more. So you just wasted 3 of them. So I may come back with the Giants and go, give me the 3 other than the ones Bill named.
Gotcha. Speaking of quarterbacks, I think we left somebody off the list yesterday. Remember you asked me what rookie quarterbacks have played in the championship games, and we talked about Flacco and Big Ben and Mark Sanchez and Brock Purdy. Did you mention Sean King?
Sean King only played 7 games.
Yeah, but he played in that championship game.
Yeah. But he was not eligible because he didn't play the full season.
Gotcha.
That's
understand.
why we didn't put him in there.
So I did go and look. I know you mentioned this yesterday about
Where's Sean King go to college?
Sean, you know?
I do not know.
Tulane. Come on, man.
Come on now. But you mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but I went and looked again today. Where the defense is ranked with a rookie quarterback, it is pretty mind-blowing that the Commanders are here because you had Mark Sanchez had the number 3 ranked defense. Roethlisberger had the number 1. Flacco had number 3. Purdy had number 1. Sean King had number 3. Commanders are 18th.
How does Sean King win a game? You got to be kidding me. Sean
Good
King.
defense.
Yeah. All right. So let's make a couple parallels here. All right. We got to take a break already? Oh, my God.
Yeah, these are 2.
Break.
I know the breaks are shorter, but they come quick.
They're shorter but come quicker. So, can't even start the bicycle. You just get it on pedals when you have to go to a break.
When was the last time you rode a bike? You ride a bike
All
frequently?
the time. I got an e-bike.
Down the shore?
Yeah.
It's good when you get that. Because when you get that breeze against you, you need the electric bike down
The breeze
shore.
always seems to be against you no matter where you're going.
It's not easy down there.
No, I drive, I go from Strathmere to Avalon. I have breakfast at my buddy's bowl place.
You're going to have to go from Strathmere into Ocean City. We'll hook up.
Hey, I could do that. Go over the bridge.
Yeah, there
I've
we
done
go.
that before. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Today, we'll find out more about Hertz's knee. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Jaylen Herz was able to finish the game on Sunday despite injuring his knee in the second half, and we'll find out more once the team takes the practice field later today, and the practice report will come out later this afternoon. We'll keep an eye out for Quinyon Mitchell's practice availability as well when he left the game on Sunday with a shoulder injury. Both indicated after the game that reports say that they should be good to go. ESPN's Commanders reporter John Keim will join us at 11:25 to preview Sunday's matchup against the Commanders. Kickoff for Sunday is at 3 p.m. at the Link. Sixers lost to the Nuggets last night. It's the team's 7th straight loss. And the Flyers, though, they beat the Red Wings at home in overtime last night in the team's 3rd win in a row. And this update is also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile, from testing their vehicles to creating an AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their start because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation.
Mike Missanelli Show. Let me do a quick comparison here with a couple situations. Since we've already talked about the Eagles and the comparison to the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom 2013. All right, let's look at it. Russell Wilson, he was a mobile quarterback. He wasn't as great a runner as Jaylen Herz, but he was mobile, and he did throw a deep ball, and Hertz can throw the deep ball. But the Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks, the similarities were there were guardrails to limit the quarterback's influence on the offenses. No team threw the ball less often during the 2024 regular season than the Eagles did. Just one team threw the ball less often during the 2013 regular season than the Seahawks did. So in the playoffs, in 3 postseason games, including Seattle's 43-8 romping of the Denver Broncos, Wilson threw just 68 times and never eclipsed 215 passing yards against any opponent. And he only committed 1 turnover. That fit how the Seattle Seahawks won. They didn't have dynamic receivers. They had a really good running back who's not nearly as good as the running back the Eagles have. So that formula fit what Seattle did. So why don't people look at the formula instead of the bottom line passing numbers when it comes to the Eagles? Why?
It's the $1 million question, Mike. I mean, it really is the $1 million question. And I went and I did a comparison between a lot of the stats between this year's Eagles team and the 2013 Seattle Seahawks, and it goes even deeper than that, how similar these teams were. So both were top 8 in terms of points per game. Both were in the bottom of the league in passing yards per game. You just mentioned that both were in the bottom of the league in passing attempts. Mm-hmm. However, both teams were in the top 6 in yards per passing attempt. Very efficient in their passing attack. The reason they didn't rely on the passing game was because, both had a top 4 rushing attack. Both were in the top 6 in terms of turnovers on offense. Mm-hmm. So they were efficient on offense. They ran the ball on offense. They didn't have to throw the ball. But the big similarities come on the other side of the football. Top defenses. Top defenses in terms of yards, points, passing yards, rushing yards. But more importantly, and I think this is going to be a big key this weekend, top defenses in terms of red zone efficiency. The Eagles finished in the top 5. That Seahawks defense was number 1 in not allowing touchdowns. Look at this last game against the Rams. What was a big difference? They got stout in the red zone. They held the Rams to some field goal attempts instead of touchdowns. There's so many similarities between these two teams, but people want to ignore the 2013 Seahawks formula.
Let's look at another comparison that I found was interesting. It was sent to me by a guy in my email, a guy named Clifton. He said he looked at Troy Aikman in 1993. The Cowboys won the Super Bowl. And Jaylen Herz, 2024. Troy Aikman was 11-3. 271 for 392 attempts. Completed 69% of his passes. 3,100 passing yards. 7.9 yards per attempt. 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Not crazy numbers, right?
Not crazy.
He had Emmitt Smith, who I believe that year was the MVP. And Emmitt had, 1,486 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Similar.
Now, and people go, all the weapons they had. They had Michael Irvin. And can you name who else they had catching passes?
Novacek, was he the tight end?
Jay Novacek was the tight end.
Yeah, he was a good tight end.
Comparable to Dallas Goedert, right?
Who was the other receiver on that
Who's
team?
the other receiver? So you don't remember.
I don't remember.
So when you look at their weapons, they go, okay, how did Dallas win? They won because their offensive line was amazing and their defense was really good. And Aikman didn't turn the ball over. Now, Hertz, 12-3, 248 for 361, almost similar. 69%, 2,900 yards, 200 less than Aikman. 8 yards per attempt, 18 TDs to 5 interceptions. And Jaylen added 600 rushing yards and 14 rushing TDs.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So how did Dallas
Pretty
win?
similar.
That you can't even name who their other weapon was.
No, you can't. Did they have a good defense, I'm assuming?
They had a really good defense. Let me tell you who was on their defense here. Hold on a second. Ken Norton. Hold on a second. They had Tony Casillas as a nose tackle. Tony Tolbert. Darren Woodson.
Darren Woodson.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah.
Charles Haley.
Another good player.
Yeah. But that's how they won, right? Now, you go, 1993, you can win that way. Well, 2013, the Seahawks won that way. 2024, the Eagles are winning that way. It might not be the prototype on how you win in the NFL today, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. And that's what I keep telling people.
It doesn't. And now that you bring up the Cowboys teams, this is an amazing stat. So since 2000, right? So we're going on now 24 seasons or 25 seasons, whatever it is. This Sunday will be the 8th time the Eagles are in the NFC Championship since the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have the Cowboys been there? 0.
Yeah, 0.
How incredible is that? 8 times to 0.
All right, here's who else caught passes. Alvin Harper.
Alvin
36
Harper.
catches. They got the ball in their backs. Emmett had 57 catches. Darryl Johnson had 50 catches. Novacek only had 44 catches that year.
Moose, Darryl Johnson. Wait, is he still on the broadcast?
And they had Kevin Williams as a big play threat. Well, maybe not a big play threat. He caught 20 balls.
Wait, what year you going back to?
93.
93. Because they win it in 95 too, didn't they?
Yeah. They won it in 93. They beat the Packers. They beat the 49ers. They beat the Bills.
Wow, you know who the backup quarterbacks were on that 93 team?
For Dallas?
Yeah.
No, who was it?
Bernie Kosar.
It was Bernie and Jason Garrett.
And Jason Garrett.
Yeah, Jason Garrett.
How about that?
All right. By the way, John Keim, who covers the Washington Commanders, and he's been on the show with us before, he's going to be coming on at 11:25. We got our text board humming at 610-632-0975. Let's go to the phones here, and we'll grab Joe in Center City. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Joe.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
What's up, Joe?
Hey, so I wanted to just chime in to discuss, Jaylen Herz a little bit and this fixation on the passing and really where the doubt comes in with Jaylen Herz. I am the Jaylen Herz detractor in my friend group. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, and I think we can win the Super Bowl the way that we've been winning. But, big but, when you turn on the television, right, and you see these other quarterbacks that are slinging the crap out of the football, right, and you watch, obviously you got the big four, right, with Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow, right? But you see these other guys, Herbert, Stafford, even guys like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold this season, right, that are throwing the crap out of the football. You just want Jaylen Herz to do the same thing. And that's all it comes down to. It's not about the money, Bill. I heard you talk about that before.
I think a lot of it is the evaluation of him absolutely has to do with the money part.
Sure. I mean, for me, and
but let me go back to you. You said slinging the ball. Like, what do you get out of Herbert slinging the ball? He hasn't done, excuse my language, dick.
Correct.
So far.
No, totally. And, obviously we have a better wide receiver room. We have a better O-line. We have a better running back, right?
Yeah.
That makes up for that. But, when you just watch these guys, they're, even Jaden Daniels, they're so decisive. They get the ball out so fast. They take these shots down the field. Their vision is better. Like, all these different factors are detractors. And here's the other thing.
But why are you a detractor? But you just said because other guys look better throwing the football. That's why you're a detractor of Hertz?
It's part of it. It's just.
But it doesn't make any sense. So what? What is this, a beauty contest?
No. It's not just the look of it. It's the way they play the game. It's
But
the way
they don't win.
right. But they have all these other factors. They don't have a top defense. They don't have all these other factors.
Well, okay. Well, if they had a top defense, maybe they wouldn't sling the ball like you say. That's the point.
Right.
You don't need to sling the ball.
That's the other point. Is we've seen him do it from time to time. Like
When it was called for, Joe. It's not called for now.
Well, I mean, it's not called for, but that doesn't mean that's not.
I got to be honest with you, Joe. You sound like a nice guy.
That doesn't mean that's not the preference of the fans.
Yeah, I know what the preference is. People like to. I said Mahomes and Allen have spoiled this whole thing for Jalen Hurts. Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense when you think about your argument. It doesn't make any sense because the Eagles are going to go play in the Super Bowl.
I agree, but that's why. But that is, if you're asking the question.
Yeah, but I'm asking you because you identified yourself as a detractor. I'm not asking the general question.
Right, but that's the answer. When you ask the public why is there's this hesitation about Hurts, that's the answer.
All right, but so we're not connecting the dots here because you are of the same ilk, and you sound like too smart of a guy for that. Let me give you the general knowledge question for today.
Okay.
All right. What are the two coldest countries in the world by average temperature? And Bala Cynwyd's not one of them.
Does Antarctica count?
No, it doesn't count.
Oh, okay. How about Greenland and Iceland?
Incorrect.
Iceland's not that cold.
Greenland and Iceland, huh? He went Scandinavia right away.
Yeah. Let me get a guess at this. I would say countries. You said right?
Yes. Countries.
Is Russia one of them?
Yes, it is.
Russia and what's the other one? Canada?
Yes.
Oh!
Bill Colarulo doesn't get a point though.
I don't get a point. We're not playing against me.
You get my admiration. That's pretty good. 610-632-0975. See how easy this is today? You just answer a question for the fun of it, not even the prize.
Just for fun.
Yeah. But the Sixers, they played last night.
Yes, they did, unfortunately.
76ers, 94, Denver, a lot more, wasn't it? Was that the score last night?
I'd rather talk about the Fly Guys with an overtime win. Points in 6 straight, Mike. They're 5-0-1 in their last 6.
The Sixers get beat by 35 last night. Is that what I did? Did they give up 144 points?
Let's go, Flyers.
610-632-0797. I got to see the plus minuses with that 144 piece Denver put on them.
Oh, my God.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
It's time for Birds Playoff Conversation.
97.5, The Fanatic. It's sweater weather, Bill.
Sweater weather.
That's what the song is. How about Sean Robin playing sweater weather? See?
Good job, Sean.
He's on
It's
it.
cold out.
He is on it.
I wonder if it's cold where Ray is down in.
There is snow. I saw some snow.
Is there?
Yeah, there's snow down south because I'm supposed to take a flight and the airport's closed. Tomorrow I'm supposed to fly down there.
Did you say? I know you said you didn't know what the weather's going to be on Sunday. Is it? I'm assuming it's going to be cold though, right?
Got to be cold.
Well, I'm pulling up the forecast now. No snow in the forecast, I would assume, but
I got a high of 38 and a
It's
low
actually
of 24, but cloudy for Sunday.
that's actually not that bad compared to what it is right now. But hopefully, like Alex Smith says, that the weather doesn't save the Eagles this week, because if it wasn't for that weather against the Rams, I still can't believe those takes yesterday. I really can't. And it keeps getting worse, man. Now they're being ranked behind the Commanders in a power ranking on NFL.com.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. By the way, this just in. Joining us at 12 o'clock, the great Mike Tirico
Oh, great.
will be checking in.
Great. He does a good job.
At 12. I'm curious to get his feel on him covering that game on Sunday, what that was like.
Nice. So we got an action-packed show today because we got John Keim, who covers the Commanders.
11:25.
We got Tirico,
Go at noon.
and we get Sirianni. Hopefully we'll get an update on Hertz's knee.
Yes. I know this is very tenuous with this knee thing. I don't know. I don't like the quiet. I think he's going to be limited a little bit.
I would be nervous if the line didn't go up,
Yeah, you're right.
right? Because with the line at 6.5 means they're not concerned about the knee. Now, if you start to see that line come down, I'm with you.
True. All right. 610-632-0975. Let's get to the text board. We got 3 texts on Hertz. Let's see what they are. Sean, what do you got here?
Yeah, we have a number of them on Hertz. This person is saying Hertz has had nothing but success, so I don't get the criticism, according to you, Mike. But he's questioning why, Mike, you were criticizing Donovan McNabb more than anyone else while he was constantly winning divisions, going to NFC Championship games and Super Bowl. Why aren't you criticizing Hertz as often?
Because Hertz didn't fall on his face in 3 of the 4 NFC title games yet. If he does, then I will say it. Like McNabb did not come up big in all but one NFC title game.
Which one? You giving him?
He lost as a favorite to
Carolina.
Tampa Bay,
Tampa first, then
Carolina, and Arizona.
Were they favorites in Arizona?
Well, you know, they might not have been, but they were a better team.
Well,
How would the Arizona Cardinals have been favored in that game? When you looked at that team, there's no way they should have lost to Arizona.
the problem with that game was McNabb looked bad early, but then did have a great second half and did leave the field with the lead, and the defense couldn't hold it.
True.
Right, but you're
It's
right.
true, but he overthrew
missed a lot
Brian
of people.
Westbrook
Yeah, he missed
in
a lot of
clutch
people early, man.
in that game.
Yeah, he missed people early. And then if you go back to the Super Bowl, I know a lot of people weren't happy with his performance against the Patriots in 2004.
But here's the thing. The Eagles, the reason why I stay off of Hurts is that the Eagles are good enough where they don't need him to be excellent as a passer. It's like, I don't understand why. It's a very simple thing here. If they weren't as good on defense and they didn't have Saquon Barkley, I would be the first one saying the quarterback has to do more.
Now, you hate when I do these comparisons with Sirianni's record.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one for Jaylen Herz. So in Jaylen Hurts' career in the regular season, he has a winning percentage of .697. There's only 6 quarterbacks with a better winning percentage since 1970. Listen to these guys. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Roger Staubach, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Jaylen Hurts. That's how good he has been in his career. It is pretty impressive.
Our first caller says, well, we see all these quarterbacks slinging it all around. And it doesn't matter that it's like us coming into work, right? If we come into work and people are, we should be dressing better. We go, why? We dress accordingly. Like, if I was on TV every day I would be dressing. Like if I'm on the set, ESPN set, Sports Center, I'm dressing, right? I'm not showing up with sweatpants. It's the same thing. You do what you need to do. The situation requires what you do accordingly.
Yeah, and that caller's like, we see these other guys slinging it, and we want him to sling it. Why? This is the formula that works.
If you need him to sling it in a future year, like next year, I assume they're not going to be as dominant where they are right now. Maybe they will be. Maybe Saquon's not going to change. The offensive line is probably not going to change. And the defense is probably going to be just as good. So maybe next year it's time to get back. But you do what you need to do. If you needed to pass the ball more to score touchdowns and move the football, then we would have an argument. But they don't. So there is no argument on how well Hertz throws the ball.
Now, let me give you one more to support our boy Hertz here. 178 consecutive postseason passes without an interception. That is the third longest streak in NFL history. That's all I want to see, man. Protect the football.
Yeah, for right now, that's the formula. A formula that could very well change eventually. And if it changes and he throws for 125 yards, guess who's going to criticize him? Oh, Mikey Miss, and probably all Little Bill.
When it's time to criticize, we will criticize. But right now, when you're headed to the NFC Championship game as a 6.5-point favorite, it's the second time you've been there in 3 years. This is the formula that's working. Why change it?
Little Bill. I used to use the movie guy.
Well, I used to get called Little Billy because my dad's Bill.
Little Bill, movie character?
I don't remember that movie.
Oscar-winning Western.
Not a big Western guy.
This was a modern Western. Clint Eastwood.
Still don't know.
Gene Hackman was Little Bill.
Oh, it's not. No,
Sorry, I can't help you here, Bill.
Not
Unforgiven.
Unforgiven. Wait, wasn't Russell? What's his name in there too?
Who's that?
Kurt Russell in that too?
No, Kurt Russell's not in that. That's Tombstone.
Oh, okay.
610-632. Morgan Freeman's in it. Remember they displayed him in his coffin in front of his general store?
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen the movie.
What? You ever seen Unforgiven?
I'm not a huge Western guy.
It won an Oscar. Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Today, we'll find out more on Hertz's knee. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. Jaylen Herz was able to finish the game on Sunday despite injuring his knee in the second half. And, well, later today, the Eagles will practice, and we'll find out if he's out there at practice and from the media during their limited availability, and then again with the practice report later in the day. And we'll keep an eye out for Quinyon Mitchell's practice availability as well, as he left Sunday's game with a shoulder injury. ESPN's Commanders reporter John Keim will join us at 11:25 to preview Sunday's matchup. Kickoff for Sunday is at 3 p.m. at the Link. Sixers lost to the Nuggets last night in the team's 7th straight loss. The Flyers, though, they beat the Red Wings in overtime at home last night for the team's 3rd straight win. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile, from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Mike Tirico will be on at 12 o'clock. And it was just announced that Mike Tirico will be the lead play-by-play guy for NBC when they're doing the NBA next year.
Yeah, very.
So there
cool.
you go. Very timely that we have him on.
It is timely, and not just because he's coming on. He's one of the best going right now.
It's funny. He really is. He is, like, universally liked. You ever hear people criticize Tirico?
No, and that's not easy to do.
No, every other announcer will get some kind of criticism. He doesn't get any, and no matter what sport he does.
And I don't necessarily love his color guy in Collingsworth. I'm not a huge Collingsworth
Yeah,
fan.
I don't mind him. Everybody thinks that he's against their teams. I think that's phooey.
No, I don't think he's against the Eagles. I just think sometimes his praise and the things he says are just like, all right, Chris.
I think the analyst is more a target for people than the play-by-play guy.
It depends on who, because a lot of people go after Joe Buck. Now, I think Buck does a good job, too.
I don't see anything wrong with Joe Buck whatsoever. I don't get the criticism for Joe Buck at all.
No, I think he does a decent job.
Yeah, I don't get it. Joe Davis is good.
Joe Davis.
But the play-by-play guys get less scrutiny than the color analysts.
Ray Dunn's a pretty good play-by-play guy.
There you go. Ray Dunn. Correct. All right, let's get back to our text board. And, again, we're in the middle of General Knowledge Wednesday today where you're going to get Sixers tickets. I'll have something to say about the Sixers a little later. But let me just say this here. Because this stat just popped up in my head. I want you to guess this. In the last 4 of the last 5 games, can you estimate what Kelly Oubre's plus-minus is?
Well, since you're asking it, I'm assuming it's really bad. The average plus-minus in the last few games, -10.
Kelly Oubre in 4 of the last 5 games is a -84.
Oh, I think you meant average.
84.
Even the average would have been off.
Well, we'll figure out the average.
would have been like a negative 22.
Add this up here. 86 divided by 5, because he had one game in there where he was only a -2. 86 divided by 5 is what?
17.2.
-17.2.
Great signing, though. Glad they brought him back.
By the way, you're listening to WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, let's get back to the phones here. We start the 1 o'clock hour, or the 11 o'clock hour, with this Jaylen Herz thing. And we have a theory. The theory is that people don't pay attention to the fact that he really doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or even Jaden Daniels, because the Eagles compensate for that by being so good in other areas, and that's how they win. And yet, we look at Jaylen Herz, he's not this, he's not that, he's not throwing the passing game. And it's because of the money. It's because of his personality, and it's because of the money. Because he comes off like a robot, and because he makes $60 million a year.
51, but
all right,
close.
51.
There is a quarterback that makes 60. His name's Dak Prescott, just so you know.
Yeah, I was confused with Joel Embiid. Anthony on a cell. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Anthony.
Hey, guys. Bill, just wanted to say congratulations on the baby girl.
Thanks, man. I do appreciate that.
Of course. I have an 11-month-old daughter, and it's the best, most exhausting thing. So it really
great
is
description.
a great thing.
The best, most exhausting thing. Great description.
Yep. I just want to say I can't agree with you guys more. I feel like you're talking to a wall with some of these callers. I normally don't call in. I just feel pretty inclined to after just the negativity that's been spewed over the last couple of weeks. I mean, like, since when is winning not the most important thing, especially this time of the year, regardless of how they get it done? I mean, with Hertz, I mean, the guy has a terrific winning percentage. I think you guys highlighted that just recently. It's like the guy wins games. He does what he needs to do to help the team win games, whether it's with his legs, with his arm when needed, by not turning over the ball most recently, knock on wood. It's just we're one win away from the Super Bowl and hosting the NFC Championship. Like, who wouldn't take this situation earlier in the year. Like, I don't know why there's so much negativity. It's just crazy. And I mean,
again, we've been spoiled by watching the Mahomeses and the Josh Allens. But and maybe, Anthony, this is the outlier on how you win, right? But outliers count, don't they? Like outliers count. So every now and then, an outlier counts.
Absolutely, and it's a full team game. Like, they have the best running game, they have the best offensive line, they have the best defense, they have the best wide receiver core, and they have a quarterback who has shown he is capable to make big plays. I mean, honestly, I think we would have won the Super Bowl 2 years ago had our defense shown up and played better.
Yeah,
like that loss didn't fall on Hurts.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's just crazy, the negativity. I mean, sometimes the thing I can understand a little bit is either the sacks or he holds on to the ball too long. But like, context matters. I mean, specifically this past game against the Rams with the 7 sacks. Like,
yeah,
okay, if you look at the full picture, like, did the lineman miss a block? Were wide receivers not able to create separation because of the conditions? Like. Yeah. It's a little bit of a tough spot. The context matters. You can't just look at stats.
Totally. The context totally matters. I appreciate your call. Let me give you a general knowledge question. Guess
Sounds
these
good.
badly described films.
Oh, God.
Here's the description. A boy befriends a bearded hermit and 2 gay robots, goes into space, snogs his sister, and kills his dad.
I normally either have these spot on or I have
this
no
is
idea.
easy. Come on, Anthony. Can I throw Anthony a lifeline here?
Oh, no.
Please.
No, come on, man. And
Is it a recent film or like
no, it's a legendary film. It's a legendary film.
E.T.?
Oh, my God.
No,
E.T.
you went wrong. Star Wars, brother.
Come on, Anthony.
Come on, Star Wars. A boy befriends a bearded hermit and 2 gay robots. Goes into space, snogs his sister, and kills his dad.
2 gay robots.
Oh, man. Star Wars. See, that's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. All right. Let's go to Matt. What? You got something?
No, I'll get to it. It's about the contract because there are 8 quarterbacks who have a higher average per year than Jaylen.
Yeah, but still, he's in the upper echelon. like he doesn't make $3. You know, he's an upper echelon paid quarterback. So people look at it and go, "Wow, he should then be dazzling." And you know, it's up to the Eagles. They paid him that. I mean, you remember before this his MVP type season, we were saying, "Oh, I don't know, he doesn't throw the ball well enough." Remember? He's not. You know, he's got not a great throw. And all of a sudden, he changed that up. They needed him to throw more. He did. He had an MVP-type number season. And now they don't need it as much.
Also, what was the difference in 2022? Back-to-back offensive coordinator, play caller in Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
It's the only season he's ever had it. Mm-hmm. And I know there are people out there who said, Kellen Moore, if Dallas wants him, they can have him. But you got to understand, if Kellen Moore leaves, his quarterback coach, Doug Nussmeier's leaving too because he followed him from Dallas to L.A. So now Jalen's going to have to come back next year. Yeah. Another play caller, another coordinator, another quarterback coach.
Yeah, and we'll evaluate next year. But early this season, our evaluation was what? He holds on to the ball too long. He turns the ball over. We're all worried about the fact that they changed it up. And they said, okay, this is a year we can win doing this. Now, next year might be different. The year after that might be different. We may need him to throw better. And then the criticism would be valid. The criticism at the start of this year was valid. It's no longer.
I agree with you.
All right, let's go to let's take a break. And we'll be back on the other side with we have Matt and Amir and Norm and Raymond, and it's General Knowledge Wednesday. We're having a lot of fun. The Commanders, the man who covers the Commanders, Sean Kime, will join us. Mike Tirico at 12 o'clock. We got all kinds of text. Big show today. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson.
11/11.
Make a wish.
My birthday.
You were born on November 11th?
Yeah,
Wait, what is that? What?
Veterans Day.
I know that. I'm saying, what's your
Scorpio.
Scorpio?
I'm a weirdo Scorpio. You tell people that you're astrological. What are you astrological? I'm a Scorpio. Oh, they go. Oh. They give you that.
I'm a Gemini, which is actually pretty spot on.
So we have the same birthday.
I'm June
June 9th.
Oh, was born the same day?
Yeah.
Look at that.
You drink protein shakes too, Sean?
Sometimes, not as often as Bill.
You have a kind bar?
Have you ever had it?
I've never had a kind bar.
Have you ever had fast food?
Not as often.
Really?
Not very often.
Cheesesteak?
Cheesesteaks I've had.
All right.
I think Sean's no, you're not a runner. You were a soccer player, right?
Yes.
Soccer player guy.
All right. Get back to the tech support, Sean. Lots of text on Hertz. One text on the power rankings. The power rankings right now, there's a disparity on the power rankings where I'm just reading one where it's got the Washington Commanders. NFL.com has the Washington Commanders ahead of the Eagles in the power rankings, even though the Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite on Sunday.
Yeah, this person checking in about the power rankings says, I don't care about the power rankings. I didn't feed into them during the whole year. To me, the number one ranked team is the team that wins the Super Bowl. Detroit was ranked number one the entire year. How'd the ranking help them?
It's a good point. And
my question is, like, I agree with that texter. My question is, how would anybody in their right mind do that? Like, where would the data be that you would rank the Commanders ahead of the Eagles at this point?
Yeah, I'm reading the little blurb.
It's just see, these people are disingenuous. Like, they just do stuff to be different. Like, no, on the planet Earth, if you've got the odds for the Super Bowl, Commanders are like 6%. The Eagles are like 33%. They lead. Like, so if you have any kind of sense at all, you would say, well, logically, the Eagles have to be ranked ahead of the Commanders in the power rankings, right?
Yeah, and I'm reading just one line in here. Want to shut down Jaden Daniels? Jalen Carter is going to have to lead a dominant showing up front. Well, hasn't he done that all season?
Yes. Yeah.
The guy's an all-pro.
Ridiculous. I'm telling you, people, they write stuff just to be different. It's not like it used to be where, you're telling the truth. That's not truth. That's just like taking a shot. All right, let's get back to the phones. Matt in Allentown. Matt, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Matt.
Hey, guys. How you doing this
What's
morning?
up, Matt?
Not much. So I want to talk about this ridiculous Jaylen Herz narrative going around. But before that, I just wanted to say that the reason we lost that Super Bowl to the Chiefs is because they overwatered the field to neutralize our defensive rushing attack. I still believe that. So anyway, so this Jaylen Herz stuff, this guy talking about wanting to see him sling it all over the field. You know who else slung it all over the field this year? Jared Goff. 37 touchdown passes, 4,600 passing yards, and where's he going to be watching the NFC title game?
Yeah.
The Eagles lead the league in time of possession. This is what we do. We wear you down with our defensive line. Then Saquon comes in and wears down your defensive line. This is how we win. I'm convinced that if Jaylen Herz was throwing it for 4,000 passing yards and Barkley's only getting 100 yards a game, we wouldn't be in the NFC title game. You guys hit it earlier with the comparison with the Seahawks. There's more than one way to win. We don't have to throw 40 touchdown passes a year. We're using Hertz exactly how he's supposed to be used and how he's making us win.
It's so logical to look at it, and people don't look at it logically. If you needed to sling it and he was incapable of slinging it, then criticism would be deserved, right? It's really simple. If you don't need to sling it and you can win another way, and most teams can't, by the way, but this team can, then I don't get the complaints about it.
Well, if he's throwing it more, you know what that means? That means Barkley's running it less. So what do you want to do? You want to give it to the guy who's averaging what?
That's what I mean. That you probably wouldn't have Barkley. Like, you would have Miles Sanders. Like, and then you would have to sling it more, right?
Right.
All right. Yeah, it escapes people. It's such an easy logical premise to hold on to, and yet people don't. All right, man. Here's your general knowledge question. General knowledge: NFL starting quarterbacks of the 2020s. So if I go to, let's go to the Colts. Give me 3 quarterbacks that started for the Colts in the 2020s.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you say it again, Mike?
Give me 3 quarterbacks that started for the Colts in the 2020s.
2020s. Carson Wentz, Anthony Richardson, and Joe Flacco.
Correct. Hold on a second. I
pretty
should have
good.
not given him Anthony Richardson, but
Yeah.
yeah, I should probably say not the current starter.
Let me see if I can name 3 more.
Go ahead.
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew's one of them.
Matt Ryan.
That's another one.
Oh, who would be the last one? Is there another one?
There's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 more.
Minshew. Matt Ryan. Flacco was already said. Wentz was already said. Richardson was already said.
Phillip Rivers was one.
Philip Rivers is one. Look at him.
Look at
baby,
Sean chiming in. We got Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers.
There's 2 more?
There's 2 more.
I don't think I got the other 2.
Sam Ellinger.
Sam Ellinger and
Is the other one a big name or not?
yes,
The other one's a big name.
the other one's a big name, and he has a Philadelphia identity.
Oh, he didn't. The caller, Carson Wentz.
You said Carson Wentz
said
already. He has the most starts.
That's what I thought.
This one has the least amount of starts. 2 starts for the Colts in the 2020s.
And a Philadelphia identity.
Philadelphia, big time Philadelphia identity.
Meaning he was here?
Yes.
He played for the Eagles?
Yes.
Nate Sudfeld.
Nick Foles.
That's right. Oh, my God. I forgot about
Nick
Foles.
Foles.
I forgot.
Come on, man.
Man, Foles has been all over the place.
He really has. All right, 610-632-0975. A couple of lines have opened up. Good time. We had like 5 stacked up there for a while. You got a couple lines, and we got John Keim covers the Commanders. What could the Commanders have up their sleeve in this game? They're missing their right guard. That means Jordan Davis may be feasting. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Today, we'll find out more on Hertz's knee. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is brought to you by Bet Parks. Join Seth Joyner and D Gunn for the Bet Parks pre- and post-game shows live at Parks Casino. For every Birds game, must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Jaylen Herz was able to finish the game on Sunday despite injuring his knee in the second half. And we'll find out more when the team takes the practice field later today. We'll also keep an eye out for Quinyon Mitchell's practice availability after he left Sunday's game with a shoulder injury. After the game, though, both seemed like they may be good to go this upcoming week, but more, stay tuned. ESPN's Commanders reporter John Keim will join the show at 11:25, and NBC's Mike Tirico will also join the show at noon. Kickoff for Sunday is at 3 p.m. at the Link. Sixers lost to the Nuggets last night. It's the team's 7th straight loss, but the Flyers won, beating the Red Wings in overtime last night for their 3rd win in a row. And this update is also brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Freshen up your morning with Wendy's Breakfast like a breakfast baconator. Ready for a fresh wake-up call? Gotta be Wendy's. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
11:25 on the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll be joined by John Keim, who covers the Commanders in just a little bit. What could they possibly have different? Well, they've got a hot quarterback. They've got some momentum. They're kind of a Cinderella story. They got this destiny theme that's coming in play, right?
Yeah,
What else do they have?
But how much weight do you put in that? Like, I understand the argument of, like, they're playing with house money. Nobody expected them to be here. But this whole team of destiny thing, I think, is so overblown every single season. Oh, they're a team of destiny. Team of destiny. You hear that every year. There's always a team of destiny.
Yeah. In this case, though, I don't know. If they were that much a team of destiny, Vegas would pick up on that, and they wouldn't be a 6.5-point underdog in this game.
I stopped with the team of destiny thing going way back to 2003, the 4th and 26 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Because when they won that game, I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the year they're getting over the hump. And then they come out against Carolina, and it was terrible.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what the Eagles have in store for them in the NFC title game. We go to the man who covers the Commanders for ESPN.com. John Keim joins us. Hello, John. How are you today?
How are you guys?
We're doing good. There's a lot of people have hopped on the Commanders bandwagon. In fact, I'm looking at NFL.com. They've got power rankings here. They've got the Chiefs 1, the Bills 2, the Commanders 3 in front of the Eagles. So what do the Eagles have in store for them on Sunday?
Well, they're a team of destiny.
yeah, they are a team of destiny.
So, listen, I don't know that you can't put them above the Eagles if you're ranking them. However, do they have a chance? Of course. Like, Jaden Daniels is special, and he can elevate guys around him. The hard part is, you go position by position. Well, the Eagles have the advantage in a lot of spots. And it's not like their quarterback is bad, right? So it's not like they don't have a lot of things going for them where they're playing at home, they have the roster, et cetera. I think the hard part for facing Washington is, one, the belief that they have in themselves is very, very high. And they have guys like veterans like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, still playing at a solid level. They're maybe not what they were, but they're still good. And then you have Terry McLaurin having a hell of a year. And then, of course, Jaden Daniels. The hard part for Washington is, they didn't necessarily stop Detroit's offense, but they forced turnovers. And against Tampa, they helped, they buckled up in the red zone, but also key turnover, and then the offense controlled the ball. So they had a lot going for them in those games. Can they do that, use that same formula against a very, very good team? Because Detroit had the offense, but you knew the defense was not good there, and you knew that Washington could hurt that defense. Facing this team for a third time, you kind of look, well, that first game, they gave them fit. Second game, they were really good. Vic Fangio is a really good coordinator. There's a lot of really good players in that D. What's it going to look like this time? I don't think you can't assume they're going to do things like I could feel like they would do against Detroit.
How much the quarterback is? It's funny how people react to Jaylen Herz, and they constantly are saying the Eagles have to have a better passing game. But they really haven't needed it. The formula that they've used is a solid winning formula. So and now this quarterback comes in, and he may have a little bit of a gimpy knee, and he may alter his mobility. How do you expect the Commanders to attack that part of it?
Well, I think I think if you're Washington. Listen, and it's not even you need to stop the run. I'm going to say this. You're not going to stop the run game. You need to contain it. You cannot have Saquon having if he averages four, or low fours per carry, I think they'd be okay with that as long as it's not over 5. Because you're over 5, it's 1 yard, 2 yard, 60. And the 60s are going to kill you. So you've got to stop that. And, you have to make Jaylen beat you. Can he run? Like, is he going to hurt you? Because, shoot, I'm watching the Rams game, and you're watching some of those runs. I mean, the zone read keeper where you're pulling two guys and you're faking to Saquon. It's like, it's really good stuff. If you don't have that, what does it look like, right?
you have to see, can he do that? And then I think you also have to put him in a position to win with his arm. Not that he can't, but you know they can control you on the ground. You know what I mean? It's not, they have really good talent in the pass game. They can do things there. I think you have to force them to do it, though, because you know that with Saquon and that offensive line and what Jaylen can do in the run game, that's a hard thing to beat. So to me, you got to take that away and see, can you win with the arm?
Yeah, how do you force that though? Like here,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if you stack up, is the strategy stack a box and get the Eagles to go, like to think beyond their thinking and throw the ball, like or do they say, okay, we know you're going to stack the box, everybody else does it, but we're still going to run it.
And I don't think they can just necessarily stack the box, because first of all, you can spread them out and get them out of that. And secondly, then I think you want to mix it up a little bit for sure. And there are definitely times where, like, all right, in certain spots, like you're going to live with 4 or 5 yards on the ground to prevent the bigger one, right? Whether it's on the ground, whether it's in through the air. So you will go to some 2 deep looks because they've done that against them. So, but you just can't have the explosive run. And I think then it's like, can you slow them in the red zone too, right? So I think it's with this team to get them into a certain longer situation. And, because like I said, you're not going to stop the run. You just have to make sure you don't. Like the first game, they did a pretty good job against Barkley for 3 quarters, even though it's like his game wasn't bad. It's just that for them, it's like, he didn't have a big run, and he was averaging just around 4 yards a carry, something like that. Well, then he has 2 long runs in the fourth quarter, and that's the difference. And, he makes you pay if you get out of your gap because of those jump cuts. He's so terrific with that behind that group. It's impressive. So I don't know that you can stop it, but I think it's easy for me to say it, but it's like, yeah, you got to stop the run. But, well, okay, good luck.
Yeah.
And, but again, I think you have to limit explosives any way possible.
I would almost, if I'm the defensive coordinator, I would almost make it so obvious that I'm trying to stop the run in hopes that you can trick the Eagles into saying, well, now we have to pass,
Yeah,
and then rely on single coverage against which still is not a choice because of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Right. And I think they have to hope that, like Marshawn Lattimore, A.J. Brown had a good game against him last time. Mm-hmm. And Lattimore, that was his second game back off a hamstring injury, got hurt again in that game, didn't play for a few more weeks, and he's now played 3 straight games. And I think he's cut of the 3 games, or the last 2 games, I guess it was. 3 games because he played the season finale. Had some issues in that game, did not look like himself. And, then against Mike Evans in the playoffs did not look like himself, I should say. But this will give him 3 weeks of practice, and he knows A.J. Brown. So what is his effectiveness level? Because A.J. really made him work in that first game, had some penalties and some big catches. He got him a couple of times, but A.J. Brown had the advantage. So you need him to play at a high level. If you get that, then you have a chance to do the other. If he's getting beat, giving up stuff, getting penalties, then you may have to change some things. So I think that would be one to watch. And then Mike Stammer's on their side, the rookie. I think they'll stay on a side. If they do, how does that look? But those two have to hold up for you to be able to really play another way.
We're talking to John Keim. He covers the Commanders for ESPN.com. John, one question on the quarterback, who's now the darling of the league. Jane Daniels is being rave reviews. Now, I get it, and he's poised and he's delivered. This is a rookie quarterback coming into an NFC title game in Philadelphia where he's a 6.5-point underdog and the weather's cold. In that context, from what you've seen, would this kid be able to handle that?
Oh, yes. I have zero doubt about that. If they lose, it's not because of that. It's because they don't have the defense to stop that run game. It's because Jalen Carter just blows things up inside against the backup guard and right guard. Even if he's playing the starting guard, he blows things up. So there would be other factors, but, the cold weather stuff, like it's going to be around 40. He's played in that. He's coming from a game where not that Detroit has more intense fans, it's louder because it's indoors. And I think having played in Philadelphia before already, I think helps that. Like, I love going up there because the intensity, the passion, the fan base, it's a blast. But it's nobody, it's funny because we do these survey things and every player will say, like, that's the place they hate playing at the most because of how it is. But I don't know that it's the loudest place in compared to where they were just at in Detroit. So I don't think he's going to be intimidated and it's funny because you forget that he's a rookie because he's just different. And I don't know when I really felt like, oh, he's just a rookie. That vibe. Part of that, too, is 55 games in college. He played at really intense places in the SEC. So I think he's got all that behind him. So if they lose, it'll be because, Vic Fangio is just a really good coordinator who has really good talent and he does. It's not going to be because of atmosphere. It won't be because of the cold.
So, John, obviously a lot of the storylines about Jayden Daniels, and he's the darling of the NFL. But I want to focus more on this Commanders defense because you said something a little earlier. Well, they didn't necessarily stop the Detroit Lions. Well, they gave up over 500 yards to the Detroit Lions. They did get those. They did get those 4 takeaways, but that hasn't been something they've done a lot in the regular season. They only had 17 all year. So, is this defense good enough to come into Philadelphia and win this football game?
Is the defense good enough to do that? No. But if you not without creating a turnover or stopping them on a 4th down and getting a change of, getting a quote-unquote turnover that way, right? I don't think they can come in and just do that. You're going to have to turn the ball over. I mean, shoot, Jaylen Herz went out in that second game. They still scored 33. They did a better job against Barkley in the second half, but, they're not a top-level defense. What I do think they do, though, I mean, and this is, the intangible stuff. Like, they play really hard. They're very physical. And can they force a turnover? That will be the key. Because if they don't, shoot, Detroit is driving. It's 7-3. Detroit's driving. They're at the Washington 17, up 7-3, and Dorrance Armstrong gets a strip sack. And instead of being down possibly 14-3, now you're driving to go up 10-7. That's what they're going to need to do to stay in the game. But, the other thing is, in that second game, Washington turned it over 5 times and scored 36. If I'm the Eagles, I'm concerned about that because that was really impressive to do that with that many turnovers. But no, I don't think this defense can do it. The one thing that I think that I'll be curious the impact is the Lattimore better than he was in that game, and then John Allen missed that game in his back. Problem is he's not Jalen Carter at this point, right? You're not getting that level back. You're getting a good lineman back for this game that you didn't have in those other games. But they have to create turnovers, and the Eagles are pretty good with the ball.
All right, John, a moment of truth. You've been very truthful with us on the Commanders' chances against the Eagles. So are they pulling an upset here on Sunday, or did the Eagles advance?
Man, I'll be honest, and I don't put anything past this team. And for some reason, I'm just somehow, some way, I think they pull it out. The problem is, when you look on paper, I'm how? That's the hard part. And so, but I just having been around this team, it's they find a way, So I don't necessarily have to pick games, but there's just something with this team, this belief. But is that enough? I don't know. Because when you think, you look at that, you're around them, you think, oh, they're just going to go in there and win because it's what they're doing now. And then I watch the Eagles. They're okay, look at those defensive backs. Look at Jalen Carter. Look at that run game. Look at Barkley going for 2 bills against the Rams, right? Yeah. It's just that offensive line is really, really good. Is Jayden Daniels in belief enough to offset that? And maybe I know you get caught up in the story of what they are, and not the team of destiny per se, but just they're battle tested. All these late game wins, then going on the road in the playoffs and winning 2 in a row on the road. And sometimes you just say I don't know how it's happening, but it is. But I'll be honest, I'm not putting any money on this game.
All right.
Because I have a lot of respect. The Eagles are such a good organization and have been for a long time. and it's just they're a model in the way they construct the rosters and what they do, and it's just that's hard to beat.
All right. Well, you've had a good season, and you can go on vacation. John, thanks a million. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
There he is, John Keim. He covers the Commanders. Yeah, he's holding out a little hope because he would love to write an upset story.
Oh, yeah, if you're covering the Commanders, of course.
But come on.
I just can't see it, man.
Not at 6.5.
No, I just can't see it. And like he was saying, for this Commanders team to stop the Eagles, they're probably going to have to get a bunch of turnovers, and that's not something the Eagles do. They don't turn the ball over.
Mike Tirico's coming up at noontime on the Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this. Bet366, Mike Missanelli Show. Mike Tirico's going to come up at 12 o'clock. Just a little a sidebar here. The Hall of Fame votes were in yesterday. And our old pal Billy Wagner, who spent a couple of years here, gets in the Hall of Fame. And I go, I go by feel when it comes to the Hall of Fame. I go, all right, CC's about each row is a no-brainer. One guy left him off the ballot. Now, that's either an anti-Asian thing or I just want to stand out. Like, how in the world do you leave Ichiro off the ballot when he's unanimous on every other ballot?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's ridiculous. And I know there's a feud going on in the 97.5 ranks.
There is.
There is, because our own Kevin Cooney, who you hear at night occasionally and weekends, is a baseball writer.
And he votes on the Hall of Fame.
He votes on the Hall of Fame. And John Kincade is saying that they ought to change the voting criteria. They shouldn't be the writers. Now, let me first address that. Who sees more baseball than the people who cover it?
I think John's point is that there are more people that cover baseball than just the writers now. That in light of digital media, there are more people who cover
Nobody covers baseball more than the people who cover baseball. They're the ones that see more games, who are in more ballparks, who are conducting more interviews.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the Twitter war.
Who else should be voting? Managers? You think managers are paying as much attention to every other game than the writers who cover the sport? Who else? What are we talking about? We talking about sports radio hosts who are looking at it from afar, who aren't delving as deep into the game and every game played in every league than the writers who actually cover the games?
Yeah, I don't want to get in on the war. This isn't a fight I want to pick.
Well, who should be going? Well, it should be the managers and the players aren't watching baseball. The players don't care about what's going on. You think they're sitting in front of a TV and they have the Major League Baseball package and they're watching games like the people who cover it on an everyday basis? Like, it doesn't make any sense to say, well, they should change the voting criteria because sometimes the writers get it wrong.
Yeah, and Kevin Cooney, when he went after John, is saying, look, ex-players are sometimes the most political and grudge-harboring people ever.
They are, but ex-players aren't watching as much of the game. They're going by feel most of the time. They're not sitting there studying the game. Baseball writers do it for a living. Give them a little credit. Now, the idiot who didn't put Ichiro on the ballot, that's a different matter.
Well, and that was Kevin's point to John, too, said, don't judge the process by one idiot. That's it.
Yeah, come on.
But you just made a great argument during the break with me because it looks like Utley is trending up, that he's got a real shot to make the Hall of Fame, but Jimmy Rollins is trending down. And you said, pull up Ozzie Smith's stats and compare him to Jimmy Rollins. And we did it.
First of all, I've been saying this for years.
It's spot on, Mike.
Jimmy Rollins should be in the Hall of Fame, and nobody thinks of him as a Hall of Famer. And I go, what are we missing here?
Yeah, I'm looking. You're right. All the statistics are identical. The difference is Ozzie Smith, 15-time All-Star.
And you know what the difference is? Ozzie Smith did a friggin' backflip when he took the field.
J-Roll was only a 3-time All-Star. Ozzie, 15. J-Roll was only a 4-time Gold Glover. Ozzie was 13-time Gold Glover.
And so explain that to me. If Jimmy Rollins had a higher fielding percentage, how does Ozzie Smith get 15 Gold Gloves and Jimmy only 4?
It's a good question. It is a good question. The numbers are spot on, man. When you just did that and I pulled them up, the numbers are spot on. If Ozzie Smith would be, everyone would say unanimous.
Listen, everybody loves Chase Utley. I get it, right? If Chase Utley gets in the Hall of Fame and Jimmy Rollins doesn't, it would be a disgrace.
Yeah, for Utley, it would be based off of that stretch from 05 to 09 where he was arguably the best player.
It would also be because he's Utley. And he never said a word, and he played every game hard, and it's that mentality, right? For some reason, Jimmy Rollins got this reputation. Well, sometimes he doesn't run to first base, Mike. Really? Look at the numbers and look at the shortstops that are in the Hall of Fame. You can tell me Phil Rizzuto belongs in the oh, Phil Rizzuto. Like, come on.
And by the way, I said Ozzie Smith was an MVP. He was the NLCS MVP, not a National League
Ozzie Smith
MVP.
was a great player. Jimmy Rollins' numbers are better. Mike Missanelli Show, right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Today, we'll find out more on Hertz's knee. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. Jaylen Herz was able to finish the game on Sunday despite injuring his knee in the second half. We'll find out more when the team takes the practice field later today, when the reporters are able to see the team in a limited fashion, and we'll also keep an eye out for Quinyon Mitchell's practice availability as well after he left Sunday's game in the first quarter with a shoulder injury. In case you missed it, ESPN's Commanders reporter John Keim just joined us. You'll be able to hear that podcast in just a little bit. And Mike Tirico's joining us at the top of the hour. Kickoff for Sunday's game against the Commanders is at 3 p.m. at the Link. Sixers lost to the Nuggets last night. It's the team's 7th straight loss. But the Flyers did beat the Red Wings last night in overtime, and it is the team's 3rd win in a row. And this update is sponsored by WorldwideStereo.com. Trade in your used audio and video gear in 2025 with Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program. Get the best trade-in allowance on new equipment. Just complete the online form or stop in store. Visit WorldwideStereo.com. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
7:57, Mike Missanelli show. We got to Sean. We got to dig out a Tirico call. I know we have him in the system. I think his call on Saquon's last touchdown. When we get him on, we'll play that as a prelude to the introduction of Mike Tirico. It's coming up in exactly 2 minutes. Again, we're talking about the Jaylen Herz phenomenon on why, earlier in the show, we said, why do people look at him like he's inferior? And they go, well, they have short memories because he did throw the ball very successfully en route to almost an MVP. He has, during this spell, made a lot of really clutch throws, even though he hasn't lit up the Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes light, where he's throwing for 250. He's making a dynamic drilled play in the middle of the field. He hasn't done any of that. But again, they don't have to do that. And you do what you need to do to win games. If he needed to throw the ball a lot more, because he's got really good weapons, I assume they would have thrown the ball more.
Yeah. I keep going back to, because we did question the passing game at times this season, saying, can they do it? Can they do it? You go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers game when they had to do it. And Jaylen Herz, in that game against the Steelers, just listen to this stat line for him. He goes 25 of 32 for 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He added 45 yards on the ground for another touchdown. I said it then, I'll say it again. That answered all the questions I had about the
when he
passing
came
game.
out and says, "Is that what y'all wanted to see?"
That's what y'all wanted to see, huh?
That's what y'all wanted to see, huh?
That was it, man.
So, this frame of reference is that he cannot deliver with his arm. It's just I don't know where it.
Look,
I don't know where it comes from. I really don't know where it comes from.
2 years ago, when they didn't have Saquon Barkley, they had a top 10 passing offense. They finished the year in 2022. Number 9 in the league, averaging 242 a game. Now, last year you saw that dip a little bit. They averaged 225 a game. This year they only averaged 188, but they didn't need it. And if you look at the numbers, Hertz still ranked in the top 8 this year. Yards per attempt, passer rating, completion percentage, and total touchdowns.
It's really an interesting phenomenon here. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, and WPEN HD Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Let's hear a little sound, Sean.
118 yards and adding to it. There goes Barkley into the clear, through the snow, all the way home. He's hit another home run against the Rams. And this one might send him to the championship game. 78 yards.
Deja vu all over again.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the call from our next guest who broadcast the Eagles' win last week in triumphant fashion as they get to the NFC title game. And the man who has just been named NBA play-by-play man for NBC's coverage next year, he is the great Mike Tirico, joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Hello, Mikey.
I guess you don't want to talk Sixers today, do you?
No, I do. I actually do. I'm glad you brought that up. We'll fishtail that. But
okay, good to be with you, Mike.
You had some. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We had some great. We've been playing your calls after that game. A play-by-play announcer, when he has big plays like that, and you had one from the jump with Jaylen Herz and then 2 from Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's like the perfect scenario for a play-by-play guy, right?
Fun game. Great atmosphere, great energy in the building, and player who can do it, right? And he did it twice, and we had that game, and it was almost one of those you could see the play starting to develop. My last look before the snap, I was looking at Chris because I said right before that, I said Barkley time, right? And just wanted Chris to weigh in that, you're going to be feeding him and, the Rams will be up at the line of scrimmage to stop him. And as I look back before the snap, I just watched the safety creep it a little closer, like, oh, man. And he just took off. That setting was cool. We had talked about the weather all weekend. And you start the game, and it's not as much snow as you thought. You're like, oh, man, we're going to be denied a snow game. But to watch that and see the way it played out, and it was built for the Eagles. That's what we said right at the open. A good defense and an offensive line and a running back to lean on. And that's what they did in the biggest moments of the game.
Yeah, very dramatic setting for that game with the snow and the grind it out type of mentality and the blue collar Philadelphia. You know, all the elements were there. But Mike, it's fascinating to me that even though the Eagles are a prohibitive favorite in this game, the national look at this game is, oh my God, if Jaylen has to beat him with his arm, they're in trouble. And everybody, even ex-NFL quarterbacks are coming in saying, well, they don't have the passing game. That's got to improve. They have created such a template of consistency on how they win. They stop you and they grind you up with their offensive line and running the football. I just don't get why people focus on the lack of the dynamic passing attack.
So the scenario, let me go with one point there. I thought Jaylen was interesting as we met with him on Saturday, and Nick as well. Just being really honest that, we can win multiple ways. Just because this is the way we're winning right now doesn't mean we can't win a throwing contest, right, if they had to. However, they're best built to do this. I think where it gets interesting is, let's say Washington jumps out to an early lead, as they did against Detroit, and you're playing uphill the whole game. Not likely to happen, but possible. Well, we watched Washington move the ball on a lot of people, and Jayden Daniels is wonderful. He's everything that a rookie quarterback isn't supposed to be, right? He can do so much. So then if you're down 2 scores and it's late third, early fourth, can that switch be flipped? And the reason people are saying, well, I don't know, is because we haven't seen it in the last few weeks. So I think that's why there's the trepidation. But if you play the scenario the way Philly wants to play, defense, run it, take a lead, game control. Game control, Mike, that's one of those terms that was used around college football when you're trying to separate good teams. They have game control. I think the Eagles have been terrific at controlling the game, and that becomes more paramount, I think, for them, and not falling far behind and having to come back and throw the ball in the fourth quarter down 7 or 10.
Yeah, listen. I get that Jayden Daniels is playing out of his mind and playing with more poise than he should. But I'm looking at how are they going to be able to? I would think that they would need to score 30 points to win this game.
And they can, and they can
against this defense. You think they can?
Yeah, I do. I mean, what the Rams almost scored 29, right?
Yeah, but a lot of that, that last 2 touchdowns, a lot of prevent defense, a lot of soft.
I mean, a little bit, but certainly not that last drive, right? I mean, prevent defense, you're moving the ball down to get in the red zone. I get that, but all of a sudden when Quinyon Mitchell was out of the game, it was a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, and I know how good Cooper Kupp has been. He's not that right now, and I know what Nakua is. I think listen to me. I'm glad I didn't say it on TV. The Commanders' offensive skill package at the receiver presents some challenges because they have some different players. Jamison Crowder working inside, De'Ami Brown getting deep. We know McLaurin's a true number 1, and Ertz. You start thinking about it. There's a lot to that receiving core. Eckler out of the backfield. When you go Eckler, Ertz, and McLaurin, those are tough covers. So you're stretched. They can stretch you in the pass game with the versatility of their receiving core. So I do think they could score 30. It doesn't mean the Eagles would lose the game, but I think it's possible. And look, a lot of it depends on Mitchell. He's been terrific this year, but it was a different feel to the secondary. I mean, how many times did they throw at Isaiah during the second half? Yeah. Right? Yeah. He hung in there. But it wasn't the same as having Quinyon in there.
Yeah, and obviously the other factor is Hertz's knee and whether that takes away a read option, where you can play that a lot easier. I get it. It sounds like you think the Commanders have a shot in this game.
Shot, absolutely. Look, I mean, having seen Detroit a lot this year, 1, living in this area, and 2, having the Lions 3 times this year, and studying for them week 18, so I watched their week 16 and 17 games twice. That is a great win. I know Detroit turned it over 4 or 5 times. Goff did not have a good game. They still scored 31 points. The defense obviously is nothing what the Eagles' defense is like because of the injuries. I mean, truly, more than half of their opening day 2 deep. So the first string and second string were out of the game from the second play on. So it's very hard to win a playoff game. Having said that, I think they could go in there and score. To do what they did in Detroit tells me they could go into the link and score 27, 28 points. I would not be shocked if that happened. That doesn't mean I don't think Philly can't score 35, but this team can score. They've got an offense that I like. What will hurt them, I think the big injury, I don't know how much it's been talked about, is losing Cosme, the right guard. He may be their best offensive lineman, and you lose a guard against Philadelphia, it can wreck the game because we saw 98 do that on a regular basis. Jalen's playing at the top of that position in the NFL.
He's a monster. It's awesome. Amazing how he's dominating right now. Mike, I got to ask you this because this is not anything to do with the game. You are universally accepted, liked, and approved by everybody who listens to play-by-play people. It doesn't matter what sport you do, and I'm not doing it to patronize you because there are people that are excellent, like Al Michaels and Buck, and they get criticized. You are universally liked. I don't think I've ever heard you be criticized by anybody who listens to you. How have you been able to pull that off?
Well, I get criticized. I get criticized on a regular basis. So
I don't know where I don't see it. I really don't see it. You get 100% approval.
It comes with the territory. I try to do a few things. I just try to live by the thought of you document the game, you inform the audience, and you entertain them every once in a while. And we get paid to kind of work for the fans. So you try to do as many stories and facts and information as you can to make the game interesting, but also care about it. Like I love going to sporting events. With the weather, we were talking about, hey, do we need to leave early to get to the link on Sunday? With traffic, maybe dicey around the stadium. If it's snowing, it turned out to be fine. But my line to our group was, hey, I'll get there at 10 a.m. I love to be in an empty stadium and watch it fill up and feel that anticipation of the game coming. I still love the job 30-some-odd years later, and hopefully that comes through in the enthusiasm for the game and calling the game. And if it does and you feel it's okay, then I've done a good job for you, and I appreciate that. But I absolutely love the job. And, to sit there, I'll tell you this, Mike, which I haven't told folks. I take a picture during the national anthem from our booth every game that I've done here for Sunday night these 3 years. It's just nice to kind of look back and just remember those settings and appreciate you've got the best seat in the house, and the job is to kind of let the audience feel that energy that you're sensing from the game, and hopefully you try to do that best you can.
Is doing a game?
I appreciate the kind words.
No, there's no question. I mean, we've been playing your call. You just have the requisite amount of excitement for the moment. Doing a game in Philly, is it a different experience?
Oh, it's great. So I grew up in New York, so I understand fans who hate you if you hate our team, because we're the only ones who are allowed to hate our team, right? That's like, wait a minute, don't talk about the Jets that way. That's my responsibility, right? I'm going to defend my team until they're bad. Philly sports fans are everything as a person in this industry you want. They are educated, passionate, loyal. It's everything you want in a series of fans. And I love how that energy is in every building that you do a Philadelphia game in, especially for the Eagles and the Link. And, man, it's fun. And you know what? They're a great team to work with. PR staff's terrific. Nick is great. Enjoy our time with Jaylen. Our visit with Saquon was so cool. So I'll tell you this. Saquon tells us, Mike, people are giving me too much credit for sitting out that last game and not going for Eric Dickerson's record. And he said, here was the deal. Like, I wanted to get the record for the offensive lineman, but Nick made the decision that, you know what, for all of us, we're going to rest some starters here since we don't have a bye week, and let's get ready for the games that matter. And Saquon felt relieved when Nick reached out and told him, I'm going to sit the starters here, or some of the key starters. He felt relieved because the decision was kind of out of his hands. But, like, to have that kind of conversation, you feel just a comfort with the people who you're covering, and you're able to share their stories a little bit better. So, yeah, top to bottom, coming to Philly over the years has been fun. And really, one of the big reasons I have this great affection for Philadelphia is Jaws. Working with Jaws from the very beginning of my ESPN days, I got to understand the Philly folks, And seeing my friend Donovan McNabb go through everything he went through in Philly, you just understand the city, and I just have an appreciation for the passion. It helps make our job so much easier.
That's that Syracuse bond you have with number 5.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's my guy.
Yeah. Last question, because the news broke today. You're going to be the play-by-play man for the NBC's NBA coverage, and we'll look forward to that. And you brought up the Sixers. So let me close with your thoughts on what is going on here with this situation. I'm pretty sure that they're close to shutting it down for the season. But what is your view on this?
So here's the stupid thing. They're sitting in the 11th spot now, right? Mm-hmm. And they're, a couple games out of 10 or 9? You really want to see a motivated Sixers team at the end of the season trying to make a push? So, in other words, if starting with Joel, if everybody's on board for a push starting, pretty soon, they can still certainly be a factor in this whole thing. But it's got to be everybody involved. I thought it was interesting watching. I watched not the whole game, but a little bit of the Denver game last night. And Nick took a timeout in the second quarter that was like, what the heck, guys? Like, there was first quarter. It was like, what the heck? There was so many rim runs by the Nuggets. They were easily getting to the basket. No contest at the goal for layups, and it was just a team going through the motions. And look, you're in Denver, you're at altitude. The Nuggets traditionally run people into the floor in the first quarter, but to lose 7 games in a row with that ability and that talent on that roster, it's just not connecting right now. So they've got to decide who's on board, and are they going to put the boat in the water and make a run here, or like you said, shut it down. There's still half a season left. So it's not over. Just be patient. Problem is, when the Eagles season ends, people are going to go, okay, where are you?
Well,
What's going on now?
They're getting a pass in a lot of ways.
Right. Yeah. And it happens. Sometimes you be in the afterglow of one season. Eagles make a Super Bowl run. It's a couple more weeks to cover, and then February 9th, you go, are you kidding me? This team with these guys has this record? So it's not over yet. But they, like you said, they've got to make a decision here soon if they're going to get engaged here or not.
He's the great Mike Tirico. Mike, can't thank you enough. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it, and we'll look forward to your NBA stuff.
Yeah, good luck to everybody there. It should be a fun Sunday at the Link. We'll be watching and looking forward to Philly fans enjoying a great weekend. Thanks, Mike. Great to catch up.
All right, there he is, Mike Tirico. Thank you, Mike, for coming on. And, I know, he's trying to be nice to the Sixers.
He was.
Trying to be a little bit nice.
He does a great job, though. The only thing I was waiting for you to ask him is if they would have removed the 3 touchdown runs and the 2 turnovers.
Oh, yeah, I should have.
If the game would have been different.
I should have. But then that would have put him in a position to criticize.
Another NBC guy. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear him go after Sims.
All right, 610-632-0975. That's how you come in. It's still General Knowledge Wednesday. We're having a lot of fun today. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Well, today we'll find out on Hertz's knee. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. Jaylen Herz was able to finish the game on Sunday despite injuring his knee in the second half, and we'll find out more once the team takes the field when the reporters get to see who goes out there for practice, and we'll also keep an eye on Quinyon Mitchell's practice availability as well after he left the game Sunday with a shoulder injury. ESPN Commanders' John Keim joined us at 11:25, and if in case you missed Mike Tirico just a moment ago, both will be podcasted later, previewing Sunday's matchup against the Commanders, and kickoff for Sunday is at 3 p.m. at the Link. Sixers lost to the Nuggets last night. It's the team's 7th straight loss, but the Flyers did beat the Red Wings in overtime. It is the Flyers' 3rd straight win. And this update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Coming January 25th, the biggest fight event ever to hit Philadelphia, Knucklemania 5. From Bare Knuckle Fighting Champions, Saturday, January 25th at the Wells Fargo Center. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Thanks to Mike Tirico. By the way, I forgot to ask him about inner excellence and that snide comment he made about inner excellence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I meant to do that. I forgot. But interestingly enough, there was a line set on a prop bet website. Let me see. It's sportsbetting.ag. Now, I don't know if this is fictional or not. You can actually bet on this, but they did set prop line on A.J. Brown's next sideline book. The favorite was Love Hurts, Buddhist Advice for the Heartbroken. Is that an actual book?
I don't know.
Love Hurts, Buddhist Advice for the Heartbroken. 7-1 is the favorite.
It is.
It's a book?
It is a book.
All right. Next in line, 8-1, the Bible.
That's a book as well.
That is a book. 9-1, any Shakespeare, and also The Catcher in the Rye. Have you read the Bible, any Shakespeare, or The Catcher in the Rye?
I told you before, I was a religion minor.
So you read the Bible?
We used to study the Bible. We used to do it at college. You would what I loved about it is we would read the Bible and then look at it from the perspective of, well, who was the audience and what did they actually mean when they were writing? It was actually very interesting.
That made you very spiritual. The Catcher in the Rye?
Way back in, I guess, middle school.
Yeah, any Shakespeare?
Of course, some Shakespeare.
Some? Of Mice and Men is 10-1.
Ooh, I love Of Mice and Men.
You a big Mice and Men guy? Inside the Philadelphia Eagles is 12-1.
Tell me about the Rabbits. What was the other one?
Lenny and
George.
George.
Tell me about the Rabbits, George.
Yeah, George. Inside the Philadelphia Eagles, 12-1. Dallas Cowboys Suck. Is that a book?
I don't know if it's a book.
16-1?
I don't know if it's a book.
50 Shades of Grey is 20-1.
Remember that whole phenomenon?
Yeah. Moby Dick is 21. Did you read Moby?
I never read Moby Dick.
Pride and Prejudice, 20-1. And The Great Gatsby, 20-1.
Haven't read
Great Gatsby is one of my favorite books.
Is it?
Yeah.
What'd you think of the movie?
I like the first one with Robert Redford. And the remake I didn't like.
Yeah, the remake.
Classic. Robert Redford is a classic.
The remake was with
Laura Dern and Karen Black.
Remake had Leo Capps, though, didn't it? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah. Let's go back to the phones. We got Raymond in Jersey. Raymond, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Raymond.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, Ray?
What's going on, baby?
How are you?
Yeah, I am doing very well, and I just wanted to say real fast before I get into my Jaden Daniels and Jaylen Herz comment.
Okay.
My son's on his way. He goes to Rowan University, and he's going to be there for the Super Bowl weekend at a conference for entertainment and digital technology, meeting all you type of guys. So if you meet him, his name is Raymond Simmons Jr.
I will. I look forward to it.
All right. So with that being said, I thought football was played in the trenches.
Sometimes it is. A lot of times in the modern day, it's played through the air.
Okay. Let's deal with the modern day. And how many of those teams won a Super Bowl?
Well, almost every team that wins a Super Bowl has a great passing game. Don't you think?
I agree to disagree, but
well, what's the last running team that won a Super Bowl?
2013.
Yeah, you got to go back to 2013 with the Seahawks.
Okay, and I don't think it have anything to do with that more than less with the quarterback. You can't touch a quarterback.
Well, whatever it is, I mean, you can't touch the quarterback. That makes the quarterback more dangerous. It's just the state of the game. So people look at it and they go, well, this is an anomaly that the Eagles aren't doing it that way. That's why the criticism comes in.
And why would my Philadelphia fans fall into that Charlotte's Web?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Philadelphia fans, as much as national people, fall into that web.
See. Okay.
All right.
Okay, but yeah, I remember when you was in Burlington at Amy's Diner, so I never forget that.
Oh, the Burlington Diner, man. That was a road trip for the Missanellis. My father was a big diner man.
Yes, that's where I'm at, Mike.
The Burlington Diner?
Amy's Diner.
Oh, okay. Very nice. You want a general knowledge question here, Ray?
Yeah. However, Can I get a layup? Like you?
This is a layup. This is a layup.
with
This is a layup. All right, here's the question. What household object will supposedly cause 7 years of bad luck if you break it?
A mirror.
Correct. Hold on a second. Raymond's in with the correct answer. That's from the Easy General Knowledge.
That was easy.
Yes, we used to go to the Burlington Diner, which was right over the bridge, Burlington-Bristol Bridge.
You would actually come to Jersey?
It's connected.
Yeah, but you don't ever go to
Burlington's
Jersey.
not really Jersey. That's connected to Bristol. It's not like there's a bridge that connects the two towns.
Yeah, but it's still New Jersey, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not South Jersey. It's like not going deep into
Well,
Jersey.
we're going to get you to South
We're going
Jersey.
over a nickel bridge.
We're going to get you to
So, and I used to get veal parmesan always at the Burlington Diner. Veal parm. It was a Sunday dinner.
That's a
Yeah,
violation.
we would go to the D Grand Diner. That was in Bristol off of Route 13, and the Burlington Diner.
Wait a second.
What?
One, you usually don't come to Jersey. Two, I'm shocked that you would order Italian food anywhere, and you don't eat veal. You don't eat veal. Those are three things I never would have expected.
I was a kid. I didn't know.
How much you
I
changed.
didn't know any better. But my cousin and my aunt and uncle lived in Burlington. So we would go there for all the picnics and stuff. They had land. So that's where we go all the time. So I was very familiar with Burlington. Besides that, the drinking age, when I was younger, was 18. So we would go over and drink. All right, Nick Sirianni is at the podium. Let's hear Nick.
Same way every week, but I'm curious, when there's so much familiarity between two teams, does it change anything as you guys game plan and go about your week? Because, obviously Washington knows what you guys do well, your weaknesses, your strengths, and vice versa. Does that just come into play at all during this week?
Yeah, like you account for everything, and you go through different plans with, everything in your mindset's the same, but and everything with your routine, you can change things a little bit here and there on routine, but your process is going to be the same. But, a game where you're playing someone for the third time, of course, you look at the things that you've done against them, what they've done against you, what's successful, all those different things. So that's definitely part of our process anytime we play a team year to year, or multiple times in a year.
Nick, what does it take to get buy-in from receivers in the run blocking game?
Selfless people. And I think that's exactly what we have there. I think that's the biggest part of it is loving your teammates, selflessness, and we've had some very big time blocks down the field by our receivers to create some of those huge runs. Receivers have a unique ability to change a run from when it gets through the line of scrimmage and everybody does their job on the line of scrimmage, to turn a 10-yard gain into a 40-yard gain, and I think it's as simple as that, selflessness.
In light of what happened in the last game between you and the Commanders, is there conversation this week with the players about not letting their emotions get the best of them?
Yeah, we had a couple penalties there last time. We've addressed that, and I think we talked about that the week it happened, right? And we've done a good job since then, and we're on that path of controlling ourselves and celebrating with each other, and we've been doing a good job of that since then.
Nick, what's the moment like when you can see that Saquon's about to spring one, like he's just kind of getting into the clear for you, for the sideline? What's that instant like?
Probably the same as it is for you and the fans and everybody. You can kind of, it's pretty awesome because he's so elusive in the open field, and so you get excited, and we don't hide our emotion on the sideline. You see us kind of jumping around, having fun there too. So an exciting moment anytime he breaks one, and I think the coolest thing about it is that it takes everybody, right? It takes everybody, and that and it takes everybody. And when you get in the end zone or he breaks a big long run like that, you can't wait to congratulate not just him, but the other guys that made that happen.
And how early? Can I just follow up? How early in the play can you tell that he's gone?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really think. I guess I don't really think about that like that. But I know that once he does break through, there's opportunity for a huge play. I've never been somebody that puts my hands up early before like the ball is complete or something. If you know you got a shot open and the ball's going to complete, you don't ever. I don't think that way, I guess, to say it. So, because I think even what I do, I think I do this every time, is when he does get a big one, I get excited, and we get excited, but my natural reaction is to look back to see if there's any penalty on the play, and to see if that long run's going to stand.
Is Brandon Graham close to returning?
I have no update on Brandon, but he's been awesome, and he's been here and just helped leading the team. I love him.
What makes you go walk through today?
Just what I felt was best for the team today.
How is Jaylen doing today?
Yeah, he'll be out there and walk through. So.
As an offensive guy, Nick, what stands?
He'll be out at walkthrough as well.
What stands out about Jaden Daniels as a rookie quarterback that maybe you as a coach don't see that often?
Yeah, I think he's able to do, win different ways. He can win with his arm. He can win with his legs. He can extend plays and make a play with his legs. He can extend play and make a play with his arm. And so, yeah, you can see that he's calm and cool in the biggest moments. And yeah, you got a lot of respect for how he's playing. He's obviously had a great year, and they're doing a great job with him over there. Their coaching staff's doing a great job with him over there, and obviously they're hot right now.
Nick, outside of those penalties, what were the other sort of big lasting takeaways from that Commanders game that can be applied here?
Yeah, again, there's always things you learn from each game: win, lose, draw, whatever. And so we made our corrections after that game to get better from it. We made our notes after that game. I'm not going to probably sit up here and tell you all the things that we plan to do or what we expect or anything like that. I know they'll have new things for us. We'll have new things for them, and it's going to be a good matchup.
Nick, to sort of follow up on the Daniels question, how big a benefit is it to have seen him live twice versus maybe a team like the Lions who hadn't seen him live at all?
Yeah, anytime you play somebody multiple times, you're going to know things about them. But again, going back, they're going to have new wrinkles for us that we're going to have to, and like I said, we're going to have new wrinkles for them. And it'll be a game of, hey, they're doing this off of that, and we're going to have to adjust to things. So, yeah, I mean, you see the things that he hurt us on last game, and you try to correct them, and I know they're doing the same.
Nick, were you disappointed at all in yourself after that game because of the thing you had with Zach? And also, can you just talk about how Zach has kind of had a resurrection here?
Yeah, Zach's playing really good football. It's not a surprise at all. Yeah, Zach and I are good. We talked after that night. Had a good laugh, and I've been very impressed with all the plays that he's made, but not that I'm surprised at all. He's a great football player, a great Eagle. I enjoyed my time coaching him, and yeah, he's playing really good football. He's been a big time target for this team. On third down and fourth down, and doing all the things that I remember him being able to do at a very high level.
You were with Brian Johnson for a bit, obviously. Can you see some of what Brian does well?
Of course. Brian's a great football coach. And you can see his influence on the quarterback. You can see his influence on the offense. And and a ton of respect for Cliff, too, because his fingerprints are obviously all over that. It's his offense. So, but, yeah, you definitely see I just know how good of a coach Brian is, and you can see how the quarterback's playing. Brian has something to do with that, that's for sure.
This is your string to go from Fletcher Cox to Jaylen Carter. What went into that transition? How important was that investment? How much does Jaylen Carter mean to the defense right now?
Yeah, Jaylen Carter's playing really good football. I'm excited that he's continuing to get better. I think I talked a lot about him and just his development and all the things. Obviously the talent's there, but he's developed so much as far as just everything, his instincts, and just continues to get better because he's got great football instincts. And yeah, to have two phenomenal defensive tackles back to back, that just says that says a lot. Same thing with Jason to Cam. I think it's the same type of deal. And so obviously you miss those guys. I miss being around Jason every day. I miss being around Fletch every day. But these two guys are playing really good football. and excited of their path and their continued development.
This is your fifth straight home game here, and you've won 9 in a row at home. But maybe other than the obvious, where do you see the advantages that being home at the Link has given you in some of these games?
I think it is the obvious. It's the atmosphere, it's the crowd, it's the noise. Like when the parity is so close, which the NFL is, and that's week to week, and even more so even in the playoffs. When the parity is so close, everything matters, right? And you're not being able to communicate or not be able to communicate on offense is a huge deal. And so, I know how rowdy it will be. I know how rowdy the fans will be. And we love playing in front of them, and especially in this atmosphere, we love playing in front of them regardless of what game it is. But I know, the last time we were in this setting, when I was here in 22, it was electric crowd. And then, I always remember I've said this a bunch. I've always remembered Jonathan Gannon before we played in that game, not when he rolled his window down and said what he said to the fans. But I remember what Jonathan Gannon said before we, when we got here, about 2017, when he was an opposing coach for the Vikings, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, this place was rocking, and I can't wait for it to be like that for while we're coaching here." And so it's an amazing fan base. It's an amazing crowd. The atmosphere is like no other. We're excited to play here.
How did the Commanders match your team in terms of their physicality?
Yeah, I think this is a very physical team. I think that, you see both teams playing with relentless effort. I can see that on their tape. I think Dan does an unbelievable job get those guys to play hard. I think he does a great job of getting those guys to play physical, and they got physical guys that are tough. And so, I think sometimes that plays into some of the, you guys asked me about the chippiness. Sometimes that plays into it when two teams are going as hard as they possibly can go, until that whistle blows. It's going to be a great battle, because I really respect how they play as a football team.
Couple more.
Sorry. What impresses you the most about the way your offensive line has been playing during the playoffs?
Yeah, tough, nasty, physical, smart. Just can't say enough about them. That unit of how they play. We got great leaders on that unit. Lane, all of them. Lane, Jordan, Landon. Cam's doing a great job. It's been awesome having Makai here and what he's brought to us. But they play hard, they play mean, they play physical, and I think that on top of all those things, you can do all those things and play with great football IQ, and I believe we do that.
And the portion has still been effective at this stage in his career. Vic pointed out how much he still likes to play, and so that's a big part of it. It seems obvious, but that I guess it's not. What's your perspective of that?
That anytime you're around Slay, you have he's got this energy, and this love for his teammates, and this love for football, and this love for life. And that's infectious. There's a reason that he continues to be voted a captain on this football team. And so you get around him, and it's like you just can't help. He can't help himself of his love for this, for his teammates. And I mean, anytime you talk to Slay, you're talking about his teammates and just football and just everything. So that's infectious. And you love having guys like that. We got a lot of guys like that here, and Slay is definitely at the top of the list there of, just bringing that positive energy every single day, regardless of the circumstances, because there's something to it. It's a long season. There's something to that, and he's a phenomenal leader, phenomenal player, and I just love being around. I've loved being around him for these past 4 years.
When you guys go up against a high-level quarterback, do you notice that Jaylen's competitive level kind of ratchets up?
I think what I love most about Jaylen Herz is that he's consistent, and he's the same guy all the time. And he, no matter who we're playing, when we're playing, practice, game, he's consistent. He's the same guy. He loves football. He loves the process that it takes. He loves the weight room. And so Jaylen's pretty stoic. So. As you guys know, and I love that about him, because same thing I said about Jaden Daniels, that he's calm, cool, I feel the exact same thing about Jaylen Herz, and I don't think he gets wrapped too much into that. He's wrapped into winning and how he's going to win each and every football game. I love that about our quarterback, and of how he goes about his business every day.
Last one. In the portion of your post-game victory speech that the team publicized from this past Sunday, you were telling your players that you have business to finish. What was the driving force behind that part of your message, and how much does that have to do with you coming really close 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, our business is this next game. Not thinking about anything else. I think, kind of talked about, when you get a win like that, all that does is make us more hungry to go out and do it again. More hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Hungrier?
Hungrier.
Both are acceptable? Okay. And so, that's just about enjoy it. I mean, that's just another way, to be quite honest with you, that's just another way to say, hey, let's get back to work. Let's enjoy this, and let's get back to work. You could say it that way. You could say, hey, we got business to handle. We got unfinished business to handle. But we know that the work that you put in through the week is what preps you for the games. None of us just show up at the game and expect results. You expect the results and to play to your standard based off of how you go about your week. And that's just really another way of saying that.
All right. Thanks, folks.
All right, here you go. It's your head coach, Nick Sirianni. Sirianni, love the news. Hertz and Mitchell will both be on the practice field in the walkthrough. I would like it to be a run-through when it came to Jaylen, frankly. Don't want to see how he's running. But besides that, you heard the head coach there. And it's more hungry or what is it?
It's hungrier.
Hungrier.
Yeah. But we'll let him pass.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. It's still General Knowledge Wednesday. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. There is also a kind of it's brewing on social media. A lot of rancor brewing on social media over a particular headline.
That's putting it mild.
Yes. So we'll discuss that after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win.
7-5 the Fanatic. Bill's here. Ray is out today. Got some Temple ladies basketball. He's got some airline problems, doesn't he? Do we know what's going on with Ray? Anyway, Sean Robbins in for Ray today.
Yeah, they moved the game around. The game was supposed to be at 6. They moved it up to 2 so that they could get out, hopefully, before the storm hits, but I don't know.
All right, well, we'll keep you posted on that. There's a controversy that's been going around social media today. Now, I have Inquirer.com up, and there's a story that's posted on Inquirer.com under the headline of opinion. And the headline is, it's a story by Marcus Hayes. The headline says, disgraced gambler Isaiah Rodgers helped save the Eagles season. Now, a lot of people are really unnerved by that headline, disgraced gambler Isaiah Rodgers. It's probably an inappropriate headline. And Marcus is getting killed. Now, Marcus Hayes has become a lightning rod for many readers because he occasionally dives into the pool of hot takes, to be fair. And so, people are leaping on him. Let me just tell you something straight here about the newspaper business, because I was in it for 15 years. The writer does not write the headline. Okay? This goes through copy editors, and whoever copy editors assigned for headlines, it goes through several copy editors, and there's always somebody who attaches a headline to the context of the story. So I originally thought that the guy used the headline, whoever wrote this headline, it's not Marcus Hayes, well, whoever wrote this headline saw the word disgraced gambler in the story, and that's why he used the headline. But in the story, it's not. There's no reference to disgraced gambler, right?
I did not find the word disgraced in the story at all, and it's actually a pretty positive piece about Isaiah Rodgers.
Right, it's about the redemption of Isaiah Rodgers. So Marcus Hayes should not be chastised for the headline. A lot of people don't know how it works in the newspaper business. You think we write the story and we're going to make our own headline, and once we write the story, it's out of our hands. All right, we're not taking any extra time to write a quippy headline for a story.
No, but you're right in saying a lot of it's because it's Marcus. Because
people just wait to want to pile on him because
he's been guilty of it in the past.
Yeah, to his credit, he's fearless. He doesn't care really what people think of him.
To his credit.
Well, yeah, it's because you have to have thick skin if you're a columnist.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the stuff he's written, especially about Joel going back.
He puts it out there and he stands by it, whatever. But our old pal John Marks.
Oh, he's getting killed.
Our old pal John Marks put a theory out trying to stick up for Marks. He doesn't write the headline. And he's getting buried by people on social media.
Yeah, Johnny wrote, I don't need to defend Marcus, but the article's positive and the writer doesn't decide the headline. And someone comes at him. Shut the bleep up. Stop defending your fellow media members. Be a man. Grow a pair of balls and call Marcus and the entire bleeping paper out, bitch. He says to him.
I'm surprised that the headline is still up on the Inquirer's website, to be honest with you. Because it doesn't refer to disgraced gambler in the story. Again, if you are a headline writer, you attach a premise from the story or words from the story into the headline. So I immediately assumed that Marcus referred to him as disgraced gambler, but in the story he doesn't. So that's an unfair headline.
Yeah, it is. The Inquirer's got to stop with this, man. I mean,
that headline needs to be changed. Here's the problem with newspapers. This stuff is done mostly remotely now. Like there used to be, you used to go into a newspaper office and it was activity and there are people stirring around and people running from here to there. Well, now, people are editing remotely. They're not anywhere near the office of a newspaper, right? They're getting the story, and maybe somebody in Connecticut could be editing this story the way it works out.
Yeah.
The sports editor doesn't even live here of the Philadelphia Inquirer.
And we kind of bashed the editors before because when the Embiid article came out that referenced his deceased brother and his son, we said the editors should have gotten involved,
right?
And they didn't. And now this.
It's just a lax industry, or more lax than it used to be. So I just thought we would explain that. The 12 o'clock hour of the Mike Missanelli Show has been brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months, a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. We will continue in the 1 o'clock hour to talk about the ongoing criticism of the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, who we know today is going to be on the practice field. So that's good news. The Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Jaylen Herz and Quentin Mitchell will be out at the walkthrough. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bowe and Tyrone at 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Wicked Wolf on Chestnut Street in Center City Sunday at 2:30. And enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. Nick Sirianni just told us that, and in case you just missed it, that Jaylen Herz and Quentin Mitchell will be out at the practice field during today's walkthrough. We'll get a later update on the practice report to see what they would have been participating in an estimation later today. ESPN Commanders reporters John Keim joined us earlier from in the 11 o'clock hour, and Mike Tirico from NBC joined us at 12. You can hear both those podcasted online. Kickoff for Sunday against the Commanders is at 3 p.m. at the Link. Sixers lost to the Nuggets. It's the team's 7th straight loss, but the Flyers did beat the Red Wings yesterday in an overtime, and that will make the team's 3rd win in a row. This update is also brought to you by True Green. True Green, get a golf course quality lawn for less than you think. Sign up at truegreen.com. That's truegreen.com. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
We just had that song, man, didn't we? We had it like 20 minutes ago.
Maybe
we get a lot of repeats here.
Yeah,
in
don't
the
mess
system.
with Mike and the
system,
music.
The system's messed up. It's putting a lot. Is this on an automatic thing?
Yes.
Yeah. We're getting we got to edit that. In any event, nobody cares. I just heard that 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I did too.
All right. Anyway, you're listening to WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Let's go back to a little earlier in the show when we talked about Jaylen Herz and the factor of him not being the dynamic passer, which everybody is harping on. In fact, we have a couple callers on hold. He needs to play better. The comparison that we've made is the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. I think it's a valid comparison. If you go back to the Seahawks in 2013, you will see that the quarterback played a similar style game as what Jaylen Herz is playing right now. You know why? Because their defense was pretty amazing. And they had a stud running back, a tough stud running back. Very similar, limiting the quarterback's influence on the offenses. No team threw the ball less often during the 2024 regular season than the Eagles did. And in 2013, only one team threw the ball less than the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson, in the playoffs, in the postseason games, threw just 68 times and never passed for more than 215 yards against any opponent, but he also only committed one turnover. It's such a great parallel. It's like right on point. Sometimes the outlier is you don't need a dynamic passing game. In a style of game now, you need a good passing game. Sometimes an outlier can actually win. Maybe it doesn't happen often, but this year it's happening. So I don't understand why people go, their passing attack has to be better. If they're playing this kind of defense and they're playing at number one level defense, if they have a running back that can't be stopped, this is the outlier. So I to me, it's like fundamentally logical that they have won with this style, and I don't go to sleep every night fretting, oh my God, he's got to throw for 253. Like I never have that thought watching this team, but a lot of people apparently do.
No, and I had my concerns in the regular season about how can they keep winning this way, but they can. They have proven that they can. And I had a few people come at me saying, please stop comparing the 2024 Eagles defense to the Legion of Boom in 2013. Mike, listen to some of these numbers, how close they are. The Eagles give up 278 yards a game. That Seahawks defense, 274. The Eagles give up 174 passing. The Legion of Boom, 172. 104 rushing yards against, 102 rushing yards against. 41 sacks, 44 sacks. 35.5% third down efficiency. The 2013 Seahawks, 35.2%. I mean, they are almost identical in so many categories. Remember the movie My Cousin Vinny? Identical. Remember that movie? Identical.
That was a prosecutor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. It may not be a common thing to not move the ball readily down the field by throwing the football. I get it. I watch football. I know where the trend has gone. It's not a common thing how the Eagles are winning. But this year, their style is a thing. It might not be the common thing, but it is a thing.
Yeah.
And that's why they're winning.
But there's one major difference, and we touched on this to start the show, of where I think a lot of the criticism comes from the Jaylen Herz haters, and it's Jaylen Herz has a $255 million contract. Russell Wilson in 2013 was on his rookie deal making a $3 million contract with only $681 against the cap.
Listen, it's valid because if you're making that kind of money, you should be a better thrower when you need to be. So, like, if they needed him to throw for 250 to 300 yards a game, and he wasn't doing that, then obviously he would need to be criticized.
Yeah, but I think, and we talked about it a lot before the bye week, the turnovers were an issue, and I think that the Philadelphia Eagles got in Jalen's ear and said, this is how we're going to win.
And maybe they paid him too much. Because, you can't worry about that now. What they committed a lot of money to Jaylen Herz. Maybe they committed it to him not knowing that maybe he'll never be a great passer, and that will be on them.
But the reason I don't think that they did pay him too much, and I know you always get mad when I bring these numbers up.
It's going rate.
Well, look at this right now. Since 2022, so now you're talking 3 seasons, Jaylen Herz has a 774 winning percentage. There is only one quarterback in the entire National Football League with a better winning percentage in the last 3 seasons, and his name is Patrick Mahomes. That's it. So if it ultimately only comes down to wins and losses, I don't care how much they've paid Jaylen Herz because all the guy does is win.
But I don't think they're paying him that kind of money to win and to manage games. They're paying him as a premier quarterback. And he will have to be a premier quarterback. Like I said, this is the perfect storm. Maybe they're never going to have this kind of a defense in conjunction with this kind of offensive line, in conjunction with this kind of running back. And then he's going to have to be a better passer. But it ain't now. Let's go to Tom in Philly, who wants to make the point. Jaylen needs to play better. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, you think Jalen's playing good?
He's playing well enough for them to win right now. Is he not?
How?
How?
Because they keep winning.
They're in the NFC title game, and they're a 6.5-point favorite.
You think they'll beat the Chiefs or Bills if they?
We'll get to that. Listen, we will get there when we get there. Maybe they won't beat the Chiefs and Bills. I don't know what the line on that game is going to be. I assume the AFC might be favored by a couple of points. That doesn't mean that their style can't win against the Chiefs or the Bills.
It can't.
How? If you have the number 1 defense, Tom, how?
How? Because the Chiefs have one of the best defenses in the league, too.
Okay. Now, maybe when they get to it, that'll play out. And Jaylen will have to pass the ball more. And if he doesn't, then we criticize him.
Trust more, Jaylen Herz or Patrick Mahomes? Give me a break, Mike.
Tom, I'm asking you a simple question. This formula that they have used has won, and it's going to win again on Sunday. Now, if they go to this...
How do you know it's going to win again on Sunday?
Because, come on, Tom, stop. They're going to beat the Commanders. Are you suggesting that Jaylen Hertz's inefficiency as a passer is going to hurt them in this game where they're a 6.5-point favorite?
For you to just put it up as a win like the Commanders aren't a 12-win team in the championship.
Yeah, I make it a win because it is. They're a 6.5-point favorite. So the people in Vegas are the smartest people in the world.
Point spread is.
Well, you don't pay attention there. The point spread means
you don't pay attention. What was the point spread against the Lions when the Commanders played there?
Tom, listen to me. You hate Jaylen Herz. I get it. All right, that's the point. Okay.
I'm speaking facts.
What facts are you speaking to winning? What facts?
The Lions Commanders point spread.
Tom.
It's irrelevant.
Tom, if they lose to the Commanders and he doesn't play well enough with the passing game, then you have an argument. Today you don't have that argument.
Why not?
Because they're winning. They're in an AFC title game.
They should have won.
When has Jaylen Hertz's inability to pass hurt them so far? Hello? Where has it hurt them so far?
It's going to hurt them so far.
Well, that's not what I asked you. Where has it hurt them so far?
They're 14-2 in Hertz's starts this year.
Listen, when it hurts them, you have the argument. If they lose to the Commanders, which I don't think they will, but if they lose to the Commanders and it's because they couldn't pass the ball, then, Tom, you come off as a genius. Not today, though. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Join 97.5 The Fanatic and Philly Sports Trips on Thursday.
Tom, you're losing your edge.
The kids.
Our last caller. It hasn't happened yet that Jalen Hurts' performance has hurt them, but he is anticipating that it will hurt them, and that's what the greatest fear is for the people. I go, all right, but if it hasn't happened yet, you're just killing yourself inside, like thinking it's going to happen. Like that's what I don't get.
And I look at this game, and I know he was trying to look forward to saying, do you think they beat the Bills or the Chiefs?
They could. They could beat them the same way.
They absolutely could. But you look at this game against the Washington Commanders. I keep hearing, can they continue to win if Hurts plays this way? Absolutely against this Commanders team, because we talked to John Keim earlier, who covers the Commanders for ESPN, and what he wanted to highlight was look at how many takeaways they had against the Lions. They gave up over 500 yards, but they had 4 takeaways. If Hurts plays this way, guess what happens? They don't turn the ball over. The Eagles don't turn the ball over, and I don't see a path to victory for the Commanders if they don't get turnovers from Jalen.
I totally agree with you. All right, it is General Knowledge Wednesday. The prize today, Sixers tickets, January 29th game against the Kings. Hey, what the heck, Maybe some stars will play in that game. Maybe it'll be a very good experience, right?
How about Mike Tirico saying, look, in a couple weeks they may look at the standings and then turn it on?
Yeah, they're not turning it on. Maybe another day we can talk about it, because I just jotted down, like I was thinking about this. I jotted down 6 really quick miscalculations that the front office made coming into this year.
Only 6?
Well, there's a lot more, but these are the 6 that just popped into my brain as I just rattled it down. Let's go back to the phones. Ryan's calling from Denver. Ryan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Ryan?
Yo, Mike.
What's up, Ryan?
I won't be as negative as Tom, the last caller, I promise. All right. Dude, the Negadelphian attitude is more infectious than the plague. Ever since I left Philly to come to Denver, it's like I don't have anxiety driving or doing anything. It's really just...
It's because you're on a Rocky Mountain high, brother. That's why.
Yeah, literally. But, hey, I got a theory on, Jaden Daniels is as cool as a cucumber. He's playing hot, right? The media needs to hype them up because they need money on the Commanders. The Eagles are the clear favorites. They have to get all the excitement on the Commanders and Jayden Daniels. So that's why everyone's freaking out. Relax. Don't forget, if Smitty didn't drop that rare drop by Smitty, Kenny Pickett would have beaten them in week 12 it was. So chill out. We're going to win.
You can't look at it, though. They're different teams. The playoff scenario is different. Their coach different. They have different confidence. Yeah, whatever happened in the regular season, to me, is irrelevant for this game. But that said, I agree. They're a 6.5-point favorite. That means they're that much better than the Commanders. They're playing at home. I just don't see where the Commanders have any edge in this game.
Yeah. It started at 4.5, too, and then it immediately went, all the money was going on Philly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Rarely, unless it's the Chiefs with the refs, rarely is the public wrong. So, the Negadelphian attitude, I'm calling in from the Rocky Mountains. Let's all relax.
Tom, let me give you, Ryan, a general knowledge question. This is the movie category. This is guess these badly described films. All right? So here's the description. A very old-looking teenage girl wears tight leather pants and learns to smoke to win her boyfriend back. Then they sing.
Oh, God, it's the City Slickers movie.
No, it's not City Slickers. No. A very old looking teenage girl wears tight leather pants and learns to smoke to win her boyfriend back, and then they sing.
Yeah, I have no...
Oh, come on, dude.
You're the one that I want.
Grease.
Yes.
It's Grease.
Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, back then? She was an old-looking teenage girl, but Olivia Newton-John was strong.
Yeah, she was one of your faves?
Strong.
Back in the day?
Strong little Aussie accent.
Olivia Newton-John.
Johnny T.
Travolta.
Yeah. It was the other one. What's the girl's name that played Rizzo?
I don't remember.
Channing something?
Channing Tatum?
No, something Channing.
I don't remember.
It's Channing is either first or last name.
Stockard
Channing. Yeah, Stockard Channing.
There we go.
All right, let's go to Josh in King of Prussia. Josh, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike, how you fellas doing?
What's up, Josh?
I am already sick and tired of this conversation around the passing game needs to be better to win this, that, and the third and whatnot. Like, we have hopefully 2 games left to play in the season. Not a time to try to make any crazy adjustments. Do what you do best and go win the game. I mean, the Lions turned the ball over 5 times against this Commanders team and still put up 500-plus yards. Like, just do what we've been doing all season. I get it. People want to point to the contract and Jaylen needs to be better and all that. But, like, why are we having this argument right now? Why are we worried about the what-ifs? This team has been questioned with the most what-ifs I've seen all season. If the snow didn't happen, the Rams were going to win.
Yeah.
What if the Eagles didn't have 5 to 6 plays against the Rams? They would have won.
Exactly. Take away 5 scoring plays, and the Rams would have won.
Like, we didn't turn the ball over. Jaylen Herz and Josh Allen had the exact same passing line, and Hertz had more rushing yards than Allen. And Allen's, MVP, and Jaylen Herz is going to hold this team back. And,
I hear you, man. It's utterly ridiculous. And I just think it's people trying to protect the local people who are scared, are just trying to protect themselves, because if it happened, then they can say they were prepared for it. The national people are creating narratives that are just flat out stupid.
I've been doing it all season. It's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, like, just be the bullies that we are. You have the best offensive line, the best running back, and yes, we still have wide receivers that arguably should be getting more involved. But if you look back at that game against the Rams, there's like 4 or 5 plays that would have given Hurts another 100 yards through the air. If they didn't take Devontae's head off, that's 50 there. There was a Goddard screen for 30 that got called back. There's different things that happened that his passing line would have looked significantly
Oh,
different.
you're absolutely right. All right, brother, here's the general knowledge question for you. It's the football question. All NFL starting quarterbacks from the 2020s. All right, so if I go to the Carolina Panthers, give me 3 quarterbacks that started in the 2020s for the Carolina Panthers, but you can't have Bryce Young.
Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Johnson.
No! You got 2 of the 3.
One of them, we say we compare him to Ray Dunn.
Andy Dalton.
Yes. The Ozempic Andy Dalton.
Teddy
Ray Dunn.
Bridgewater. P.J. Walker from TU.
Forgot about him.
Go Owls.
Cam Newton.
Newton played for them in the
Yes,
2020s.
he did. He started 5 games.
That's right. He went back there after New England, right? Is that what it was?
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Jaylen and Quinyon Mitchell will be out at the walkthrough today. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is brought to you by Parks Bet. Join Seth Joyner and D Gunn for the Bet Parks pre- and post-game show live at Parks Casino for every Birds game. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Jaylen Herz and Quinyon Mitchell will be out today's walkthrough, according to Nick Sirianni. It will be an estimation when we get the injury report later today, but we will have an update if it'll be limited or a full participation in an estimation later. ESPN's Commanders reporter John Keim joined us earlier today, and you can hear that podcasted on 97.5thefanatic.com. Same with NBC's Mike Tirico. They both previewed the matchup for Sunday, and kickoff for Sunday's matchup against the Commanders is at 3 p.m. at the Link. Sixers lost to the Nuggets last night. It's the team's 7th loss in a row. The Flyers, though, they did beat the Red Wings in overtime, making it the team's 3rd win in a row. This update is also brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Coming January 25th, the biggest fighting event ever to hit Philadelphia, Knuckle Mania 5. From Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, Saturday, January 25th at Wells Fargo Center. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
tonight, Bill?
Daft Punk? No.
Daft Punk not playing in your house. You know the guys that wear they wear like the space heads. No.
Just the
Daft
soothing,
Punk. They're French.
Just the soothing sounds of.
But that's not Daft Punk.
That
They're
wasn't Daft Punk.
They're singing about Daft Punk.
Yeah, I know
That's
Daft Punk.
LCD sound system.
Daft Punk is around the world, right? Isn't that their song?
That sounds a lot better than your Sirianni love song. I'm looking at this thing here. I don't know who this guy is who does this. Eric Edholm,
the Power Rankings,
lead draft writer, Power Rankings for NFL.com. He's got to. All right. I can buy the Chiefs number 1, the Bills number 2. He's got the Commanders at number 3 on his Power Rankings. Now seriously, you just like how is that possible? You can't possibly do that and be taken seriously.
Yes,
even if the Commanders could beat the Eagles. Don't get me wrong. Well, you're rating it right now. You're telling me you're putting a 6.5-point underdog ahead of a home team who's in the power rankings. Like seriously, come on.
Well, his justification, he says, by no means is this a perfect roster, but then again, the 2001 Patriots, the 2011 Giants, the 2020 Buccaneers, and other squads overcame similar limitations.
Well, okay. Then he's doing it based on, they have to overcome. Like, he's doing it on a lark. That's not a power ranking.
No, it is not.
That's like I think that maybe the Commanders could beat the Eagles. That's not legit in a power ranking. Come on, man. Let's be genuine here, you media people. Let's get a little more genuine. Let's go back to the phones. Well, let's go to text board. We got a lot of texts on Hertz. We got a lot of text on the offensive comparisons that you put out with the Seahawks. Are people refuting that, Sean?
Yeah, we did have. Well, one person was compared. No name on this one was comparing the offense to in 1991 offense when the passing game was putrid.
We're talking about the Eagles offense.
Yes, the Eagles offense in 1991. We also have another text on no name on this one as well about the Seahawks. I get the comparison between Eagles and Seahawks, but those systems are far and few between.
Yeah, okay, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. Like, what far and few between? I get it. The last comparison had 20 and 13. Most of the time, you need a really good passing game to win. But has there been the combination of what the Eagles are and what they do well, which is the offensive line, which is the running back who's an all-world player, which is the defense, which is number 1, that has the most dominant defensive tackle in a game today? You got to factor that in.
You do have to factor it in. And the comparison to the 91 Eagles, well, let's just put that to bed. They had the 21st ranked rushing offense, and their leading rusher on the season was James Joseph with 440 yards. So you can't compare the 91 offense to this Philadelphia Eagles attack with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, listen, can the Eagles lose? Yeah, they can. I mean, I'm not predicting them to win the Super Bowl. When I get to that game, I'll see what I feel about it, and maybe they don't beat the Bills and beat the Chiefs. But like for me to sit here and go, I'm fretting the fact that they don't throw the ball, and that means that they're going to lose to the Commanders. The Commanders are 30th in the league against the thing that the Eagles do best, which is run the football. Greg in Jersey, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Greg?
I just wanted to say, my man, you guys, to be honest with you, we were 2 seconds away from Sirianni probably getting fired if Williams doesn't fumble that ball, and he always fumbles the ball. And then,
he wouldn't have got fired. You mean if Kyron Williams holds on to the ball?
I mean, that's the biggest play.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got fired.
You're probably right. Maybe not. You're right. But, I mean, and then the one thing about Jaylen Herz, too, is, he I'm not saying he can't throw the ball, but he can't read a defense, man. He can't read a defense. I mean, he's got the best offensive line. He's got the best weapons. We wouldn't be having...
Let me ask you this. Could he read defense when he was the MVP candidate a couple years ago? Did he have a problem reading a defense?
Do you remember at Alabama when Tua...
Forget Alabama. Forget it. We're going into his pro career. He was he was en route to winning an MVP. Did he?
That was one season.
Did he? Okay, but did he have a problem reading a defense?
All right. I'm telling you one thing. during these playoffs, I'll admit, you guys are going to beat Washington because Washington's defense.
Let's say the you guys thing means you're not an Eagle guy, so you're
I am.
So you're jelly about something. Well, who's your squad?
All right, are you going to hang up on me?
No, I'm not going to hang up on you, but I can see through where you are here.
I wish I had your team. I'm a Giants fan.
Okay, you're a Giants fan. All right, so you're a little bitter. You're a little bitter.
No, I'm admitting we're horrible.
Yeah, but it's skewing your view of the Eagles because you're bitter.
But I'm just saying, the best player on your whole team is Jalen Carter's a monster. He's a beast. And Howie Roseman is the best GM in the whole league. It's not even close. But Jalen Hertz making $50 million a year to have A.J. Brown on the side.
And again, how has it hurt them, Mr. Giant?
But I'm
Greg, come on now. Let's have a conversation. No, you're not you. How has it hurt the Eagles that you don't see him as this all-world passer?
I mean, it might down the road. He threw.
It might down the road.
But let me just say this real quick. We wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't a thing. Because A.J. Brown wouldn't be on the sideline reading a book if it wasn't a thing. They got the best offensive line, the best weapons, and he can't still throw the ball even when
I'll ask you the same question. How has that hurt them?
It hasn't yet, but there's reason why people have life insurance, and it might be coming.
Listen, man. Do you want a general knowledge question?
I mean, it hasn't hurt them yet. Yes, it hasn't hurt them.
I'm giving you a general knowledge question. We're past the hurt part.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
You weren't listening 2 seconds ago, but here's your question. It's very easy general knowledge. What is the second planet from the sun?
We're talking about football, man. Come on.
This is General Knowledge Day, man. You got to be familiar with our show. It's General Knowledge Wednesday. I just asked you a general knowledge question. If you can't get this question, you're a lunkhead. How's that? What's the second planet from the sun?
Earth.
Get out of here, you fraud. It's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
Third rock from the sun. Remember the show? That's Earth. By the way, the narrative that Jalen Hertz can't read defenses, there's a couple of issues I have with it. If you watch the Eagles game on Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams, on Saquon Barkley's big run, Hertz changed something at the line of scrimmage.
Yes, he did.
So he's coming to the line of scrimmage, and not only is he capable of reading the defense, he's changing the damn play at the line of scrimmage and having success. And I also feel that if he can't read defenses, he wouldn't have 178 straight passing attempts in the playoffs without an interception. He would have thrown a lot more interceptions if he had such a hard time reading defenses. And one more thing, Mike, before we go to break.
Before we go to break, you have to give me the whole solar system.
Oh, hold on. People keep saying that this Eagles team aren't going to be able to beat the Chiefs or the Bills in the Super Bowl. You know, the Eagles offense ranked 8th, the Buffalo Bills ranked 10th, and the Kansas City Chiefs ranked 16th. So where is this coming from? I know Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are great. The Eagles have a better offense than the Bills and the Chiefs.
I'm not going that far. I don't know if they can beat those teams. I don't like when we come to the Super Bowl. I might not feel good about it. All right, I'll spot you to 4. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. What do you got?
Jupiter,
Bing,
Venus.
Nope.
Saturn.
I just said Venus. I said Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. I spotted you.
How many
4.
are there? How many are there?
There's 9.
Is Pluto still a planet?
No.
Jupiter, Saturn,
good.
Uranus.
There you go.
How many more I need?
One more.
Don't help me, Sean. Jupiter,
I don't know. It's
Saturn, Uranus. You said Mercury. You said Mars. We said Venus. You said Earth. What am I missing here? What does it start with?
Uranus.
What does it start with?
Neptune.
Mike
Missanelli show continues.
Now, a Birds Insider Update.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. The Fanatic, still General Knowledge Wednesdays. We come down the home stretch. We'll have our closing arguments in a little bit. Jaylen Herz is always active. People talking about Jaylen on the text board, which is 610-632-0975. Give me one more here, Sean. What we got with Jaylen?
All right, we're going to go a little bit more positive on this one. Ron in Ben Salem's, he says, mark my words, within the next 3 years, Hertz will be the best quarterback in franchise history. He will win the Super Bowl this year to shut up all these weird fans in the national media. In my T.O. voice, that's my quarterback.
Interesting. So you can't deny if a guy gets to the Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls, he wins 1, gets to 2, and he'll have, at least several more years of his career. Is it possible that Jaylen Herz becomes the best quarterback in Eagle history?
I think that's where he's headed, yeah. I mean, who would be up there? Right now, McNabb
how many yards does McNabb have? McNabb in the 30,000s?
I'm going to pull up. Let me get the record book here. I'll get you the leading rushers in passing in franchise history. Here we go. Passing records. So McNabb's at 32,873.
Okay.
Hertz has a long way to go. He's only close to 15,000.
You can project that. If he wins the Super Bowl, or even if he gets to 2, that's 1 more than McNabb got to.
Yeah, I mean, right now McNabb's clearly, I think, the best quarterback.
Jaylen Herz will get to 32,000, I think.
Well, McNabb did it in 148 games. Hertz right now is at 77. Hertz has more yards per attempt than McNabb, so maybe he does get there if he throws.
Yeah, I think he'll get there.
But when you throw in the rushing on top of it, that's the thing. You got to include the rushing.
Had a lot of rushing yards too. I mean, he didn't have as many as Jaylen, but
he didn't have as many touchdowns. That's for sure. So I can pull that up too.
All right. Meanwhile, let's go back to the phones with Mike in the Northeast. Mike, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Mike.
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
I'm calling about Hertz, man.
Yes, sir.
I don't see what the fuss is about with Hertz. We're winning games. Hertz is doing what he needs to do for us to win, and it's working. So why are people complaining?
I just think this is an era where the splashy quarterback, the throwing quarterback, gets most of the attention, the eyeballs. And they look at Hertz and they go, well, he's not doing that. But, again, they don't factor in the other stuff. Like, this is one of those seasons where the Eagles have proven you can win without having that kind of quarterback.
Exactly. And he's doing good. We don't need to throw. When we have to throw, he throws.
Yeah, he makes big throws. He's made a lot of 3rd down, 4th down throws that have been crucial.
The throw that A.J. Brown just missed, that was a nice throw.
It was. That's not gotten nearly enough attention. That 4th and 4.
It don't get no attention.
It doesn't get attention. That's a clutch throw because the pressure of being a 4th down and giving up the ball, you got to have that as a dime, and he did.
Exactly. I don't get the Hertz hate. I don't understand.
I'm going to give you a general knowledge question. This is the football quarterbacks. NFL starting quarterbacks in the 2020s. Let me go to the Commanders. You can't have Jaden Daniels, but give me 3 other starting quarterbacks the Commanders have had in the 2020s.
Oh, my God. RG3.
No, not in the 2020s.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. You can't.
No, you got me on that.
Well, come on, you got to get one.
Yeah. I think Sean's asleep at the wheel back there.
Yeah, you had to bleep that, Sean. Did you bleep that?
Yeah, I don't think
I got one of them earlier.
Yeah, well, you didn't get this one.
No.
All right. Commanders.
Heineke.
There you go. Taylor Heineke, 24 starts.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell. You got the 2 easiest ones.
And then, man, that is tough now. But Heineke, Howell. Going back, who else started for them?
You're missing an obvious one.
I'm missing an obvious one.
Yes.
I'm drawing a blank, man.
Carson Wentz.
Oh, man, Carson Wentz. That's right. The Eagles sacked him 7 times a couple years ago.
Smith, Dwayne Haskins. And you ready for this? Kyle Allen, Garrett Gilbert, and Ryan Fitzpatrick had 1 start.
Did he really?
For the Commanders.
The beard, huh?
Yeah. Curtis in Northeast Philly. You're on 97.5. What's up, Curtis?
What's up? I'm glad you back. I ain't get on the air since you been back.
How you doing, man?
What's going on with them letting Mike leave? But let's get to Jaylen real quick.
All right, go ahead.
The man is a born winner. All he do is win. He won at Alabama. He won at Oklahoma. He graduated college in 3 years with his 2 degrees. He did nothing but win since he's been here. All we ask him to do is not turn the ball over. He can pass when he got the pass.
He's got 2 degrees?
Yeah, from Alabama.
He has 2 degrees.
Look it up.
I don't think he's got 2 degrees from Alabama because he went to Oklahoma and finished up.
He got it. Yeah, but it's 3 years. Well, I don't know if both came from Alabama. I know he got 2 and 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got his master's, too.
Does he really? In what?
I think public relations. Hold on.
Oh, all right. Public relations.
Relations and
public relations. What's that? The robot public relations
and information sciences.
Come on, man. All right. Curtis, you want a general knowledge question to close this out?
Of course.
Here we go. The general knowledge question I have for you is, I actually give you an easy one here, right? What's the word for a young sheep?
Calf.
No, it's not calf. It's lamb.
These easy ones people are struggling with.
All right, we'll give you one last one. I don't have a closing argument today, so forget it. No, let's go to the closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
My closing argument is simply this. Stop doubting the Eagles' lack of a passing game. It really doesn't matter, folks. I don't know why you're trying to squeeze this in with a shoehorn. The Eagles have proven they don't need a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes to win with this style. Now, if it plays out in the Super Bowl that they did need that, then we'll be the first ones to say, you know what? That's a shame that they couldn't pass the ball better. But not now. My God, and certainly not against the Washington Commanders. They can beat this team up running the football. They're 30th in the league against the run. What do you think the Eagles are going to do? Pass the ball down the field? Go ahead, Bill. Close it out.
I just keep going back to it should be about total yards. The people who are anti-Jaylen Herz, they constantly want to eliminate what he does with his legs. They constantly want to eliminate the rushing touchdowns. You can't do it. When you look at the total yards from the divisional round, he had more total yards than Josh Allen. He had more total yards than Patrick Mahomes. And the biggest number that Jaylen has consistently delivered, 0 turnovers. If he doesn't turn the ball over on Sunday against the Commanders, and he has another big game with his legs, knee permitting, let's hope he's healthy, I don't see how the Commanders win this game. You know what, Mike? Maybe this should be the topic tomorrow. Enjoy this. I don't think Eagles fans are enjoying this enough. We got an NFC Championship game on Sunday.
They're too worried, and I get it. Our general knowledge winner is Raymond Simmons. Congratulations to Raymond. Bill, we'll close it out with this. I'll give you the Steelers. You can't have Russell Wilson. Give me 3 quarterbacks that have started for the Steelers in the 2020s.
Can I have Justin Fields?
No.
All right, so 3 others that have started for the Steelers in the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, you got who was their starter last year? Why am I drawing a blank on who their starter? Kenny Pickett.
Yes, Jesus. You not getting the ex-Eagles.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
It was Pickett, Roethlisberger, and who was Roethlisberger's backup? Oh, man. I know it, and I'm drawing a blank.
He got his helmet ripped off by a defensive lineman.
Weren't there 3 quarterbacks that started for them last year?
He swung at him.
He swung the helmet at him.
I'm forgetting his name.
Mason Rudolph. You're missing the man called Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, Mitch Trubisky, too. That's a bad one.
Everybody have a great rest of the night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.